And good evening and welcome to the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. My name is Grant Farhall. Joining me tonight on color, Alex Coote stepping into the booth on what is a special night for the Calgary Roughnecks, and namely Caleb Toth. It is Caleb Toth night here at the Dome, as he will be inducted into the Forever a Roughneck program. The longtime Calgary Roughneck retiring just prior to the beginning of this season. Alex, Caleb Toth, what does he mean for this franchise?
You know what, Grant? He's the face of this franchise. He's been the face of Calgary lacrosse for as long as I can remember, the last 10, 12, 15 years. I think he's the biggest reason that lacrosse has come so far as it has in Alberta right now.
Yeah, you think back to that initial deal way back when the Calgary Roughnecks traded Blaine Manning to the Toronto Rock in exchange for Caleb Toth, a deal that quite frankly worked out just fine and dandy for both organizations, as Manning has gone on to a great career and Caleb Toth came to Calgary, won 2 championships, a huge part of both championships. The ceremony just getting underway in a few moments. You can see the Calgary Roughnecks taking the floor right now, all of them wearing number 9 Caleb Toth jerseys. Quite the honor for him. We're going to have a number of guests. This ceremony likely to take about 15 minutes. We will carry it live here until we get underway. Of course, it is the Roughnecks and the Edmonton Rush tonight as well. There is a game to take care of as well. The Edmonton Rush playing better of late. The Calgary Roughnecks have continued their dominance in the regular season over the Rush. Edmonton will try and correct that. You see now the coaching staff for the Calgary Roughnecks led by Kurt Molosky. Of course, Mouse played with Caleb, coached Caleb as an assistant coach. Now Kurt Molosky, the main man behind the bench for the Calgary Roughnecks. More of the guests coming in, including Ken King. And in fact, we're going to take you down to the floor now, folks, and just let you listen to this special night and this special ceremony for Caleb Toth.
he was ready. He was the youngest guy on our team. He was there with his brother Joseph and smaller. So one of the stories I have about Caleb is that I had a little prospect, one of the expensive little ones, and I put it down. I remember the second practice, Harris running over the boards and being angry that I ruined this fantastic stick. But the very first game we played, Caleb scored 4 goals, and after that it was good. He had just a magic field around him, and other players, they didn't have it, and it was just, just run him, whatever. He did it, but he did it with his team, not as an individual.
I coached most of when I was a 15, 16-year-old midget, and I remember a tournament that we played. It was a Canada tournament, and the Burnaby team came out to Calgary, all-star team from Burnaby came out. They were undefeated. They felt they were just going to destroy us anyway. What happened was the game ended up in tied in the very first game. And I think that's when we first started to scout out Caleb in that particular game. And then we ended up playing in the final, and we beat them quite handily. And Burnaby was just shocked that we could actually, the Calgary team could actually compete with the BC team. And Caleb filled in that. That was the first time he was really recognized that this gets good.
For me, it was I stripped Burnaby. I knew that Caleb, he made his way up there. I asked some questions about making that shit out there if I could and what I should do. And he's the reason why that board was able to. I had the pleasure of working with him and be a better household. And learned quite a bit about myself. Spending the time away from home and having his guidance and leadership. Really took me here as well.
Doug was made the second overall draft pick in the 1998 NLL draft by the Toronto Roughnecks, and he played with them for the next 2 seasons.
Caleb, I think, did one thing that no one else has done. That's shown Ontario and British Columbia that there's other places besides those provinces that really cause players he let them back. He moved on there and goes to that application. And I think part of it was he wanted to make sure he didn't embarrass us with Canada to declare Alberta, and he has players.
Caleb enjoyed 2 excellent seasons with the Rock, but his shining moment came during the 2000 Champions Cup when he scored what is referred to simply as the goal, the last goal ever scored in Maple Leaf Gardens. In 2001, the Calgary Roughnecks franchise was established, and one of their first orders of business was to find a cornerstone to build a franchise around.
This was a smart idea 12 or 13 years ago to bring across to the town. And Caleb was a young man, about 23, playing across from the Rock at the time. And jumped on a plane, and he was a little park boy, like myself. Gave him a call, kind of, got to meet Caleb then, and began his career with me. And throughout the journey for 10 or 11 years, Caleb was always at my back me up. It was 100% behind me with the vision, and then came time when the season started, and to make a trade for Caleb, and that was the plan all along.
I think that story was wonderful. I think at that point, I really wanted to have Caleb on the team as a foundation because he was a Calgary kid. I believe that. And I just prayed that, he would wind up here. When he did come here, I we were all dancing and singing and laughing. We were talking about
I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear it because I'm pretty selfish as a father. I always want your children close to you. And I know Caleb wanted to be here because his family is spiritually here. And I know Brad wanted to be here as well because he was a player at that level that can perhaps help a franchise.
Caleb was a huge leader, a young team and young players, and he just kind of took him under his wing without really saying too much. He just kind of said, "Follow me," and that leadership quality is something you can't teach. And he's definitely portrayed that to many guys, and myself included.
Caleb's a big part. The last couple of years, he did whatever he needed to be part of the team. organization and everybody going forward. So he's doing this for Caleb. He's always going to be there. He's the angel on the shoulder. We got to look up there and we see that number 9, and that's something special that we never take away from us.
During his illustrious 13-year NLL career, Caleb Took was a 4-time All-Star and won 3 NLL championships, one with Toronto in 2000 and twice in Calgary during the 2004 and 2009 seasons. He is the Calgary Roughnecks all-time franchise leader in goals, assists, points, and game-winning goals. It is an honor for the Calgary Roughnecks to have Caleb Took become the inaugural member of the Forever Roughneck program, a newly established distinction honoring the best and brightest members of the Calgary Roughnecks franchise through their history. Congratulations to Caleb, his wife Mary Ann, and their 2 children, Dio and Lily-Ann.
Please now direct your attention to the ceremony where the presentation is being made on behalf of the Roughnecks Ownership Group and organization. Mike Ward is now presenting Caleb with a custom-made Hickory 11 lacrosse stick, handmade by Dylan Powell's of Six Nations, Ontario, and specially engraved with Caleb's NLL career statistics and achievements by Calgary-based artist Paul Dunn. The wooden stick dates back to the creation of the game of lacrosse, remains a strong and renowned icon in the game. In addition, Ken King and John Bean will now present Caleb this morning with a gift on behalf of the Calgary Roughnecks organization. The Roughnecks are proud to show their appreciation for all that Caleb and the Tote family have done for lacrosse in Calgary and the Roughnecks organization by sending them on a trip to Disneyland. Your Calgary Roughnecks players will also be presenting Caleb with a limited edition personally engraved wristwatch in a private ceremony following tonight's game. Caleb has requested the opportunity to say a few words on this very special occasion, and we are very happy to oblige. Ladies and gentlemen, number 9, Caleb!
It's the first time I'm actually been nervous to get in this building. It's not fun. I feel bad for the rookies that come to Calgary. On behalf of myself and my family, I would like to thank the Flames and Roughnecks organization for this distinction honor. Growing up in Calgary, I never thought that it would be possible to be a professional lacrosse player, especially in this great city. That was my mom yelling at me to speak up. Besides my marriage, the birth of my 2 wonderful children, the championships in 2004 and 2009 are one of my greatest memories. I'm sure they are forever remembered, not only by myself, but by my teammates and the great lacrosse fans here in Calgary. I would like to thank my wife, Mary Ann, my children, Dio and Lily-Ann, my parents, Sarah and Christine, all my siblings, and all my family, as well as my friends. Without their support, encouragement, sacrifices, and most importantly, their love, I wouldn't have been the lacrosse player I was, or the man I am. Growing up in Calgary in the summer months, my brother Joe and I would spend hours and hours at the outdoor blocks on the ridge, playing lacrosse with our childhood friends, developing our skills, and my goal celebrations. Without them, I might never have had the passion to succeed or the love of this great sport. At that time, the lacrosse in Calgary wasn't as big as it is today. Without the great volunteers in Calgary, from the parents who organize bottle drives to the coaches who give up their times, I truly thank you for keeping this game alive and well. I would like to make a special thank you to Brad Anderson. He took a chance on a local lacrosse player. He took a chance on a local lacrosse player to bring her back home and help build this great franchise and bring the sport to Calgary in a professional manner. Although there were sacrifices along the way, we both had the opportunity to lift the Champions Cup not once but twice in this great city, in this great building, and for our great fans. I truly have been blessed throughout my lacrosse career. I've had the opportunity to play with and be coached by the best in the world. I would like to thank all my coaches, my trainers, the support personnel, and especially my teammates who helped me throughout the career. I wouldn't have won those championships or been here right now without them. So thank you. The Flames family are a proud and professional organization, and with their involvement, I'm sure the Calgary Roughnecks will continue to be one of the leading franchises in the National Lacrosse League. I'm grateful to them and to you, the fans, for giving my family and I this amazing night. Thank you very much.
The time has come to direct your attention to the south end of the field, where we will be raising the banner of the Roughnecks in the Scotiabank Saddle, commemorating Caleb Toth as forever a Roughneck.
once again, welcome back to the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. My name is Grant Farhall with Alex Coots tonight after what was a stirring ceremony as Caleb Toth is inducted into the Forever a Roughneck program. And a guy with his class and his grace, you would expect nothing less than that tonight from Caleb Toth. An emotional Caleb Toth, but great comments about the former owner of the Roughnecks, the current ownership group, the fans, his family, his teammates, his coaches. Just a fantastic job by both the organization to put this together for Caleb tonight, but also himself for just a tremendous speech honoring all the people that have allowed him to have such a great NLL career. And of course tonight, Alex, there's a game to speak of too. The Edmonton Rush in town tonight looking to break a long losing streak against the Calgary Roughnecks during the regular season. You have something like this, Alex, a ceremony like this. We're now about 27 minutes past when this game would normally start. It's going to be a half-hour delay. Does this favor one side or the other? Does this give the Roughnecks an emotional boost? Or how do you deal with this kind of thing when you actually have a game to play following it?
You know what, there's a bit of an emotional boost, I'm sure, in the dressing room. They've been talking about winning for Caleb and doing a lot of stuff tonight. But with all that out of the way, these guys have a job to do. The one thing I'm kind of concerned about right now is the amount of time they had them on the floor. And I'm sure Edmonton's been out running around, but it looks like they're going to give them a little bit of time here to get one last quick warm-up in. So we're not going to have any cold feet going in.
Yeah, you don't want to be cold heading into a game, and the games between the Edmonton Rush and the Calgary Roughnecks are always very physical affairs. Now, for the Roughnecks tonight, Alex, one of the big storylines to watch is the fact that Jeff Snyder not on the lineup. He is out with suspension. He had quite the road trip, got him to some trouble, and as such will not be playing in this one this evening. What does his loss mean to the Roughnecks?
You know what? Nolan Hebner is going to step in. He's going to do a great job at the face-off. Jeff is such a leader in the room, and I know he's been down there on the floor and he's been in the dressing room talking with the guys all week. Like, I don't think his presence, as far as the guys are concerned, is going to be that big of a deal to the team. It's definitely going to change a little bit more on the face-off circle. We're going to have to work a little bit harder because it's pretty tough to replace a Jeff Snyder at the circle, no matter who you have coming in.
Yeah, absolutely, no question when it comes to that. Jeff Snyder leading the NLL heading into the weekend action, both in terms of face-off wins, 183, also loose balls, 143. So certainly his presence will be missed, but Nolan Hebner is certainly capable of stepping up. Your starting goalies tonight, no surprise, the number ones for both sides. Aaron Bold will go for the Edmonton Rush. It'll be Mike Poulin for the Calgary Roughnecks. And these two have had an interesting series this year. We saw that game up in Edmonton where basically everything in the first half went in. Mike Poulin went the distance in that one, but Aaron Bold was pulled from that one, and Brody McDonald picked up in the second half for him. We later found out that Aaron Bold was actually under the weather in that one. Bold came back down here in Calgary, was much better in that return contest, and I suspect tonight we'll see good performances from both Aaron Bold and Mike Poulin. Your take on the goaltending matchup, Alex?
Very similar goaltenders. Aaron being a West Coast boy out of Victoria, Pooley out of Kitchener. You know what? These teams are so evenly matched in the sense that they're running the same defensive system. And I think in that first game where we saw such a high score, with the new rules and the transition games and the athleticism of the young guys playing this game, you're almost taking away a chance to get your full defensive setup. And with a lot of broken plays and a lot of mismatches that way, it's generating a lot of goals around the league, where from one night to the next, it's anyone's game, and it's just going to be a real pleasure to see how this unfolds tonight.
Now, the story in the Edmonton territory when it comes to lacrosse this season, no doubt the play of Mark Matthews. He leads the NLL in goals entering the weekend. Yeah, he is a rookie, but I'm not talking rookie goals. He leads the league in goals. He's already set rush marks for goals by a rookie and points by a rookie. And that's one of the reasons why Edmonton now have the second highest goals for in the entire NLL. And Alex, for a team that has struggled basically in its entire existence to score goals, Mark Matthews gives them that offensive beast to really build the offense around.
He's a rookie to this league, but he's definitely not a rookie on the floor. He had some great college years in Denver, back-to-back Man Cups with two different teams, being Whitby and Coquitlam, and I think he's finally they got the right combination. They have a great offensive coach in Todd Lorenz, and it's been exciting to see what they've been able to do this year.
Absolutely. Now on the other side, Sean Evans enters the weekend action, leading the entire NLL in points and assists. So we have quite the matchup, and of course when it comes to Calgary Roughnecks, it's a very deep team when it comes to offense. That's the strength of this Riggers club, and we'll see who steps up today in that regard as well. But we're about to get underway here. Your starting lineups, it will be for the Edmonton Rush, as mentioned, Aaron Bold and net, Kyle Rubisch, Curtis Knight, Chris Corbeil, Jean Lafontaine, and Jeremy Thompson on the draw. He was very dangerous in the last 2 games versus the Calgary Roughnecks off the draw. For the Roughnecks, Curtis Manning, Sean Evans, John Harnett, Andrew McBride, the captain, and Nolan Hefner will be taking the bulk of the face-offs. The Roughnecks going left to right on your screen. The Rush in their road whites going from right to left, and we're just moments away from getting underway. Glad you're with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed the Caleb Toast ceremony. Now let's get to the game, as this one is about to get started. And we'll get it going with Hefner versus Thompson on the opening face-off as they tie up. Battling forward, it looks like Thompson's going to come away with it. Boots the ball back and does eventually pick it up. So Edmonton will get the first possession of the game, although they throw it away. Eventually it comes all the way back to Aaron Bold. He's going to have to start things off. The Rush now moving it down the floor quickly as they look for their first chance here. This is Knight. Knight plays it on top to Ward. Now Ward goes over to Matthews. Matthews is going to go over to the other side, and Ward eventually gets it. He's been very good against the Roughnecks this year. There's a shot. Poulin with the save. Didn't look like he knew where it was, but the rebound goes to the corner where battle ensues for it. Eventually Andrew McBride picks it up. Now he's going to start forward for the Calgary Roughnecks as they will get their first chance of this game. Looking for the quick start. They work it. Sean Evans plays it out in front. There's a shot down low. Bold has it. Doesn't know where it is though. Ball's still on the floor as both teams are in on that battle. Eventually it is Ryan Dilks for the Rush coming up with it. He plays it ahead to Brett Metzke. And Metzke finds the offensive team on the floor, including Corey Conway, former member of the Calgary Roughnecks, to Thompson. Thompson has some room. He's going to fire it. Save off of Poulin's chest, and it comes all the way back to Thompson. He's going to head to the bench now for a change. Now here's another shot, another save, Poulin. Rebound comes all the way back out in front, but it's Calgary with it, and they'll start down the floor. Turnover, though, as Pete McFedridge loses the handle. This is Davies for the Edmonton Rush. Davies gives it to Conway as Edmonton's going to get a second opportunity here. We're 90 seconds into this contest, 0-0 the score. Nice move there. Here's a chance. Scores! Edmonton Rush get on the board on a nice effort from Corey Small. 1-0 Edmonton.
You know, that was a great offensive loose balls there. Like pressuring those guys, Curtis Knight staying out there, giving this team a chance to change, and just hard work pays off, Grant.
Yeah, that swim move by Corey Small, very impressive, and gives Edmonton the first lead of the game. And now they will get possession and try and build on that lead as well. This is Thompson. Easy to spot with that long ponytail. Makes my job easy. Now Ward has Knight to his left and gives it to him. Knight looking for room, has room, shoots and scores! Curtis Knight makes it 2-0 Edmonton as the Rush are off and running. That's the start you're looking for if you're an Edmonton fan, Alex.
Oh, that's an unbelievable start. I mean, for the first goal, Pooley, like, I know they're looking 5-hole. Some of the tapes I've been watching, a lot of guys are going 5-hole, but you know what? Mike Poulin's the kind of guy that's going to step up his game.
So 2 minutes into this one, it is Edmonton with the 2-0 lead. Now Calgary does win the faceoff as they will look to respond here. This is Evans. Has a man off the bench and gives it to him. That's Scotty Ranger. And Ranger gives up the ball to Dixon, now off the bench. They work it around. That was Pascas. Calgary looking to respond here after falling behind 2-0. And then the ball is thrown away. Edmonton's going to have a chance to come up with it. But potentially a breakaway opportunity here. Moving in, LaFontaine shoots and Poulin the save. Rebound to the corner. A chance there for Edmonton to go up 3-0 as the ball was tossed away and LaFontaine found himself one-on-one with Mike Poulin. Poulin makes a big save, though, to keep the damage from getting worse. Now at the other end of the floor, we're going to get our first penalty of the game as Kyle Rubisch dragged his man down, and that'll send Calgary to the power play.
That's such a huge stop and a key time for Mike Poulin there. Stopping the momentum, giving their offense the chance to get out there and get working with the amount of firepower on the Calgary offense. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Calgary power play, 59.6% on the season. PK for the Edmonton Rush exactly at 50% for the season. Calgary, though, looking to bite into that lead. They're down 2 here early. Here's Jeff Shatler as they pass it around. Ranger working it. Now Evans Evans tries to find a man, gets Doby in front. Doby with a chance. He went wide though. Ball thrown behind the net. Evans is going to have a chance to come up with it in the corner. He's almost dragged down, still has it though. 5 on the shot clock. Here's a chance for Shattler, shoots and scores! Jeff Shattler beats Aaron Bold. Calgary's on the board, it's 2-1.
Great twist shot from Shattler. That's his key area. It's his sweet spot. He likes to throw those deceptive shots from that area, and great ball movement.
And strong work there, Alex, from Sean Evans to come up with that loose ball and then fight off the check to eventually work it around to Jeff Shattler. Those are the little things that Sean Evans gives you every night.
I tell you what, you go into a corner at any level with a guy from Peterborough, and there most of the time those guys are coming out with the ball.
Number 17 on the season for Jeff Shattler, the NLL MVP from 2 years ago. And it's 2-1 Edmonton. Calgary 1 for 1 on the power play now tonight as they clicked very quickly on that power play opportunity. Getting some of the momentum back in this one. Nolan Hebner gets possession on the draw. Now waiting for the offensive set to get on the floor. Gives it to Scotty Ranger. Ranger working from the left side. Has a man off the bench, that's Veltman. Veltman gives it to Pascas. Then a quick pass in front. Not sure if that was intended for Dixon or not, but either way, it's 2-1, or 2-on-1 going the other way. Ball is thrown away though as Brett Metzke could not come up with it. Now Ryan Ward plays it down low. Here's an opportunity for the Edmonton Rush. Mark Matthews has a man off the bench. Nice move there, shoots! That was Greer with a shot wide of the net. A nice effort there by the Calgary Roughnecks to come up with the ball. That's Manning reaching out with his long limbs and gathering in that loose ball. And now this is Joe Resetaritz. Resetaritz has a man off the bench. Shattler with it. Shattler tries the move, turned aside. Now he gives up the ball. Gets the return pass. Dinsdale. Now he goes all the way across the other side. He was looking for Joe Resetaritz. That didn't work. And as the shot clock winds down, it will be Edmonton ball. 10:35 to go here in the first quarter. Edmonton Rush leading 2-1 and leading on the shot clock 6-2. So they have had a very good start in this one. Here's Conway for the Rush. Conway has a man, that's Davies, who then goes back to Conway. Conway now gets some help from Davies. He eventually goes over to the other side. Now here's an opportunity, shot coming, that's wide. Comes all the way back near center where Conway hits the deck but manages to get the ball to Davies, who then just puts it into the corner as the shot clock expires with 10:04 to go in the first quarter. Pulling up with it, looking to move it quickly. This is Greg Harnett. Little flip to Scotty Ranger, who then gives it to Pascas. Calgary working it around. This is Evans off the bench. Couldn't get by his man, so instead he'll work it to Veltman. Daryl Veltman being guarded one-on-one. Eventually does get some help. Now leaning on his man, loses the ball. Nice defense there as Brett Metzke comes up with it eventually, and Edmonton's going to move it out.
Great pressure by Edmonton on this system, and doing a great job.
That's Ryan Dilks with it. Dilks feeds it to Ward. Ward, the leading point scorer for the Edmonton Rush in the season series between these two clubs so far. Now, Edmonton gives it up as Corey Small drops it. Manning again on the ball. Now he's going to run the floor. He's facing a 1-on-3 though, so he's going to curl back and wait for reinforcements. Comes in the form of Dane Doby, who has a man off the bench, Curtis Dixon. Curtis Dixon tonight, if he scores a shorthanded goal, would set a new record for the Roughnecks for shorties in a season and would tie an NLL record. Now the Roughnecks work it around. Evans tried to go to the middle area, went into a pile of bodies, and again, the Rush able to come up with it. That time John LaFontaine nearly throws it away. However, only Rush player near it, Jimmy Quinlan, was able to pick it up. 8:35 to go here in the first quarter. The Edmonton Rush leading this one 2-1 as they scored 2 goals in the first 2 minutes to grab that lead. Calgary has since responded with a power play goal. That's where we stand. Ball goes behind the net. Mike Poulin finds it eventually, and he looks to go down the floor as both offenses struggling to generate good chances right here for the last couple minutes. Carnegie with it. Bounce pass to Veltman. Veltman then goes over to the left side. He's got Scott Ranger there. Ranger trying to drive the net. Here comes Ranger, shoots and scores. No goal as Ranger steps in the crease. Beautiful effort by Scotty, but it will not count. Score remains 2-1.
Now Kerbalowski's looking up the Jumbotron here, looking for the replay. He's got the flag in hand. It looked like he was inside from where I'm sitting, Grant, but it's tough to say.
Timeout on the floor. You are watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, tonight game is brought to you in part by Reebok. Redefine your game with Reebok's new Black line. Reebok Black was designed and engineered for the elite lacrosse player. Reebok's Black line features a lightweight and minimalistic design with carbon-light technology. Performance-driven, technology-driven, NLL proven. Find all the new Reebok lacrosse gear online at ReebokBlack.com. 2-1 your score. The Edmonton Rush leading the Calgary Roughnecks. 8:03 to go here in the first quarter. Scott Ranger almost scoring there. Well, he did score. Won't count. He was in the crease. It looks like the officials, Alex, got the right call there.
Yeah, it looked like he was inside. At least he touched the turf and he was inside before the ball actually dropped and crossed the line.
Last few minutes, Alex, both teams struggling on the offense. Is that the defense is adjusting, or is it just the flow of the game?
You know what? On the Edmonton side, their offenses have done a very good job of pressuring the D, keeping the ball in that end. The other end, when the Roughnecks are down there, getting pressured a lot, but they're getting their chances. They're starting to get in, starting to run their plays that they're supposed to run, and it's starting to look like it's going to be a pretty good game.
Now, most of the time, these two teams hook up. It is a good game. We've seen some wacky stuff over the years. We've seen some blowouts. We've seen some brawls. We've seen close games. We've seen tight games. We've seen low-scoring games, a bit of everything. But anytime the Edmonton Rush and the Calgary Roughnecks get it on, it promises to be a good one. Of course, the Edmonton Rush have had all their problems against the Calgary Roughnecks during the regular season, but they've also delivered a major upset to the Roughnecks in the playoffs. So these are far from sure things, Alex.
Well, that's the thing. In this league, similar to the NFL, you got to get hot at the right time, and one game, one given night, anyone could go.
Tonight it is 2-1. The Edmonton Rush leading, 8:03 to go in the first quarter. Again, shots on goal, 6-2 favoring the Edmonton Rush. So early on in this one, the Roughnecks struggling to generate chances. The Rush, have the ball here as play gets underway. Ryan Ward comes down the floor. He plays it to Knight. Knight has a goal in this one already. Now they're going to work it from the other side. Matthews tries a shot, hits the defender right away. Ball up for grabs on the floor. Ward comes over, picks it up. He gives it right back to Matthews. Now under 10 on the shot clock. They're going to have to create something quickly. Davies can't. Oh, his stick basically obliterates for some reason. And now the Roughnecks are off and running. It's Scott Carnegie.
Great work by Davis there. His stick broke, but he was right there, ran up the floor, shut down the transition.
Not sure what caused that stick to break. The pass was not that hard, but it basically completely disintegrated in his hands. Now the Roughnecks are going to work it around here back on the offense. This is Evans. Evans, nice pass there. And then the pass to Doby does not click. It's going to go down to the corner to Evans instead. Now Evans looking for a shot, shoots and scores! Sean Evans continues his hot play, and it's 2-2.
Great work by Calgary. It's tough when you have two teams that have similar defensive systems. The offense knows ways to get around it. Carried it in the corner, does that little flip pass, comes in, a little bit of a split dodge, gets over top and sends it a far side shot. It's just great lacrosse.
Off the face-off, it looks like Calgary will get possession as Nolan Hevner is going to chase down that ball. Nolan Hevner now facing a real battle. Going to lose his stick eventually, but Calgary able to come up with it thanks to Greg Harnett. Harnett's going to flip it all the way to the other side to Curtis Dixon. And now Calgary will finally try and get the offense out there. They've already lost 15 seconds on the shot clock, but here comes Dixon. Dixon leaning on his man, spin move, Dixon tries the shot, stepped in the crease anyways, and it will be Edmonton Rush ball. 6:33 to go here in the first quarter. 2-2 your score. Edmonton going out in front early in this one, 2-0. Calgary has since responded with two of their own, and it is 2-2. Conway now looking for a man. Eventually it does come to Alex Turner, deflected to him. He put the shot on net, and now Calgary picks up the loose ball. They're going to move it quickly down the floor. This is Dinsdale. Dinsdale scoring his first ever NLL goal a week ago, that following the game where he picked up his first couple of points in this league, so a big weekend for him. Now Shadler tried to go all the way across the other side, threw it right into the hands of an Edmonton Rush defender. Now here come the Rush back the other way. Ball is dropped briefly, And now the battle for it is on. It's going to be Dan McRae picking up for the Calgary Roughnecks. Good defense there as Edmonton unable to get the offensive set on the floor. Now Shatler tries to go across the other side again. This time he does find Evans. Evans now working it from the corner. Gives it to Resetarits, who then goes back to Evans. Evans tries to go cross crease. Shatler does eventually get it. Now he's facing a 1-on-2. Nice play to Doby. Doby well defended though. Now Doby still with it. To the net, tries the shot. Eventually squirts loose. Evans tries his luck. Save made by Bold. Calgary gets it back though. Joe Resetarits with it, and a fresh 30 to boot. Well, Calgary making some changes. It's Curtis Dixon off the bench to Shatler. Shatler now gets a step on his man. Shatler, nice play there, but just out of the reach of Doby, and that's going to be a over and back violation against the Calgary Roughnecks with under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Your score 2-2. We're all tied up in the Battle of Alberta. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, a reminder that NLL Radio offers the best online radio coverage of the National Lacrosse League. You can listen to NLL Radio on your smartphone. Just download the popular TuneIn Radio app. That's TUNEIN, and find NLL Radio under the More Sports section. You can hear the latest episode of every show, including our own Roughnecks Radio, anytime on your phone. For more information, simply visit NLL.com/radio. One other game happening tonight. It's 6-4 Rochester leading Colorado. That one with about 9:37, well, exactly 9:37 if you want to be precise, to go in the second quarter. So a tight one there and a tight one here, as it's 2-2 between the Edmonton Rush and the Calgary Roughnecks. Again, not a lot of shots on this one so far, Alex. 6-4, and if I'm tracking this correctly, I don't believe the Rush have had a shot in about the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's been really a bit of a loose ball battle on both teams. Edmonton's come up with a lot. I put a lot of credit to the forwards on these teams shutting down the transition game. It's been so key with the 8 seconds and teams starting to run the ball that the offense needs to get off and get the defense on, or they got to shut down that transition and basically give their team a shot to set up on defense.
We saw that earlier in the year with the Calgary Roughnecks, Alex. They were giving up some chances and some goals in transition, something that they certainly seem to have adjusted to. As we're back to the live play, this is Corey Conway for the Edmonton Rush. He gives it to Ward. Now Ward looking to work his way around his man, tries the pass, and it gets out of the hands, though, of Small. He was unable to come up with it. Now a whistle on the play, and it will be Rush ball. I think we're going to have a penalty, actually. As heading to the box is Greg Harnett, I believe, for the cross-check. Didn't see the play. But regardless, it will send the Rush to their first power play of the game. Their power play 41% heading into this game. Calgary penalty kill 50%. And that Rush power play was red hot earlier in the year. It's cooled off since. With Matthews and Ward out there, they can certainly do some damage. It's those two passing back and forth. Eventually they go down to the corner. Now here's Ward. Ward plays it to the left side, then gets it back, tries the shot, Poulin shoulder save. Knight tried to get the rebound. Instead, though, it's Calgary coming up with it. And they're going to try and work it down the floor short-handed. Odd little pass there that eventually does get to John Harnett. But the slowest pass I've ever seen the length of the floor. Harnett does get it, though. Now here's Ranger. And again, Curtis Dixon, very dangerous short-handed this season. He's got 6 on the year. And if he gets a shorty tonight, he'll break a couple records. There's Ranger trying his luck for a shorty. That doesn't work. It's turned aside by Bold, but Shatler gets the loose ball, and that's going to give the Roughnecks a fresh 30, a chance to kill some more clock off this penalty that has 1:04 to go. Nice job here by the Roughnecks on the kill. And here is Dixon. Dixon back to his man. So dangerous shorthanded. Now towards the center. Tries the shot. That's where he is so dangerous from. It just whizzed wide. Eventually into the Edmonton Rush bench. And that gives the Rush the ball back as they will work the power play that now has 45 seconds to go here. This is Matthews. Matthews looking to his right side, gives up the ball as the Edmonton Rush now set up. Now Matthews with some room. Goes over to Knight. Knight to Ward to Matthews with some space. Shoots. Save Poulin. Rebound there. Tried by Guerrier. That goes wide and high. And it is Calgary coming up with it. They should be able to kill the remaining 22 seconds on the penalty here as they survive that Edmonton Rush power play. Nice work there, Alex.
Another great job by the transition. They're very key on not letting that run happen. The offense guys are coming back, shutting it off. Just a great plan.
Here's Evans working shorthanded, 5 on the shot clock. Tries to play it out in front as we're now back to 5-on-5 play. Eventually it does come to Kyle Rubish. And now he plays it ahead to Jimmy Quinlan. Quinlan with it. The long-time Edmonton Rush hands it off, and then he'll hit the bench. This is Corey Small. Small runs over to the far side, now has a bit of a step, gives up the ball to his man. And now loose ball battle for it. Eventually it does squirt all the way to the Calgary Roughnecks. They try to move it quickly in transition. Hits an Edmonton player, Pete McFedridge, Johnny on the spot. And he has Harnett running the floor. That's Greg Harnett. Head up, looking to give up the ball. Has a man off the bench, gives it to him. This is Pascas. Pascas goes to Scott Ranger. Ranger immediately met by Thompson. Now here's a shot. That's wide. Way up into the air. And falls in play, barely, but it does fall in play. Edmonton has it. And now with under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, they come down. Again, 2-2 the score. With under 2 to go in the first quarter. As a close checking game, I would say, early on in this one. Here's Knight. He tries his luck. Try to beat Poulin down low. It was wide. Matthews gets the loose ball, though, with now 10 seconds on the shot clock. Matthews still with it. Matthews trying to run away from his check. Tries a shot. Poulin the save. As Matthews puts a dangerous ball on net. And now Edmonton trying to come up with the loose ball. They do get it, and they'll get a second opportunity here. Matthews with it. Matthews hands it off to Ward. Ward plays it over to the right side. There's a shot coming. Poulin the save. Rebound is there, and Poulin has to reach behind him to get that one out of harm's way. And now here come the Calgary Roughnecks with exactly 60 seconds to go in the opening frame. Dane Doby greeted, so he gives it to Curtis Dixon. Dixon plays it across to Doby. Again immediately greeted, so this time he gives it to Evans. Evans off the bench and into the play with the ball. Evans in the corner, going to drive the net. Evans tries to stuff it up high. Crashes the crease, a couple bodies on top of him, and the Edmonton Rush have the ball with 40 seconds to go here in the quarter. LaFontaine has it, and he has reinforcements off the bench. Instead, he's going to wind up. No, thought of the shot, then thought of trying to play it down low. Pass didn't work. And Calgary with it in the corner, whistle on the play. Now some rough stuff as Andrew McBride did not care for that. A few players from each side in on there. John Harnett, Corey Conway, former Roughneck, also feeling a little cranky, but it looks like cooler heads will prevail.
Yeah, it's just a testament to the Battle of Alberta, and no matter what the sport, every night you got two teams in Alberta meet for anything, especially when it's a north and south battle. Emotions are high and tempers are very short.
Well, you look at the standings in the West Division too, Alex, and you know all these games are so important. It's a short season. All these teams want to get that home floor advantage heading into the postseason, and not much room for error when you look at how tight things are in the West. The parity in this league right now is unreal. Any team, any given night can beat you.
Oh, absolutely. And you're seeing it even with a game like Philly the other day came back. I think they're on a 3-game winning streak right now. You really have to be prepared every night to go to battle for the whole 60 minutes.
24.6 seconds left in the first quarter. It's 2-2 Calgary with the ball now as they will try and generate one more opportunity here in the quarter. Dane Doby has it. Doby's got Ranger to his left, Shatler to his right. Right now hanging on to it. Sean Evans down in the corner in his usual spot. Now here's Ranger. Ranger gives it to Evans. Evans works from the corner. Try to go across. Now here's a chance at the empty net. Scores just as the clock was expiring. That one will count. Kyle Rubish puts it in the empty net. And the Edmonton Rush take a 3-2 lead. I believe there was 0.1 on the clock.
I hate to say it, but on a night when you have a goal with almost no time left, a la Caleb Toth night. But you know what? They did a great job there of shutting down. You know what I've been noticing, Grant, is they're really doing a good job of banging around Dixon and really having someone, whether it's Cornwall or Corbeil, they're really trying to take him out of the play, and they did a great job there. Ended up coming up with a loose ball, and sometimes the bounces like that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So we head to the second quarter. The Edmonton Rush enjoying a 3-2 lead. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, a reminder, with the Brier at Rexall, the Rush are playing the second of 5 straight on the road tonight. They will then finish the regular season with 3 straight at home. The next Rush home game is on Saturday, April 6th. It's the Rush hosting the Colorado Mammoth. Game time in that one is 7 p.m. For your tickets, visit edmontonrush.com. That's edmontonrush.com. Tonight, the Edmonton Rush in Calgary, where they lead 3-2 over the Calgary Roughnecks. And Alex, we saw that goal late in the first quarter there on the empty net. Pretty standard play for the Calgary Roughnecks, or for any team, to try pulling the goalie for that last opportunity. Very rarely does it bite you, but in that case it bit the Calgary Roughnecks.
Definitely, like, it was a long shot too, rolling the ball. It was almost like inside right post and in, and sometimes those are just the breaks, and those are the bounces, and those can be the differences. And that's why they're doing such a good job of going to these loose ball battles and coming up with it. So the more you control the ball, the more you win these loose ball battles, and you get an extra 30 for your team, the more you have a chance to score, and that's so key in the game of lacrosse.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a curling shot, really. I mentioned the Brier. That pretty much was a curling shot, so rather apropos. Out-of-town scoreboard tonight, just one other game, and it's now tied. Rochester and Colorado knotted up 6-6. That one still in the latter parts of the second quarter, about 4.5 to go in the second quarter. We'll keep an eye on that one as this game goes tonight as well. But again, 6-6 between the Colorado Mammoth and the Rochester Nighthawks down in Denver this evening. 3-2 here in Calgary. Shots on goal after the first quarter favoring the Edmonton Rush, 11-6. Alex, the Calgary Roughnecks are going to want to put more balls on net here in the second quarter.
Definitely, they've been setting up a lot of times, getting someone underneath, whether it's Sean Evans, whether it's actually just Sean Evans, the one I've seen coming on the diving play.
Yeah.
Dobie getting inside. They're giving Shatler his looks, but they've tried a couple times coming in low underneath for that diving play, and Bold seems to know what they're doing. I don't know if it's something they're planning or something that they've scouted on him, but they've done a good job so far of shutting it down.
Keep in mind, this is the third time these two teams have met so far this season. It's the third one of 4 tonight, so these teams are getting quite friendly with each other. Face off again, Nolan Hevner taking it instead of Jeff Snyder, who is suspended in this one, and Hevner comes up with the ball as he beats Thompson in that situation. So Calgary will get a chance here in the second quarter early on to tie things up. This is Jeff Shatler. Shatler gives it to Dixon, or Pascas gives it to Dixon. Dixon now, flip pass out of the reach of Scotty Ranger. Sean Evans comes all the way over to pick up that loose ball with now 5 on the shot clock. Evans, nice pass there. Here comes the shot. Eventually squirts all the way to Bold, and now he's going to play it down the floor. Breakaway opportunity coming up possibly for the Edmonton Rush. However, the ball did not cooperate for LaFontaine. Does eventually give it to Corbeil. Now quick pass and a goal. A beautiful pass from Chris Corbeil as he finds a streaking Ryan Ward, and it's 4-2 Edmonton. Ward came flying off the bench there, Alex.
Great discipline by Edmonton. Like, sometimes just when you get that pass up, you don't want the guy to necessarily take it to the cage right away. You turn around, you peel out, you look for who's streaking. In that case, Ward coming from the bench. Great passing play, great goal.
So Calgary down by 2. They were down by 2 earlier in this one, and they are in that case again. They get the ball, though, off the face-off. This is Pascas. Pascas feeds it to Shatler. Shatler tries to get a step, flips it back to Pascas, and then the quick pass to Hevner doesn't get there. Hevner tries to come up with it behind the net. However, it's Edmonton that walks away with the ball, and they move down the floor now looking to do more damage. This is John Lintz. Lintz has Matthews. Now Matthews tries a shot. Chest save there by Poulin, and now here come the Roughnecks in transition. McBride has a man with him, hanging on right now. McBride shoots, and that one whizzes wide of the net. Comes all the way back to Dinsdale, who picks up the ball and quickly moves it. Now here's McBride. He wants to get to the bench, so he immediately flips it to the man off the bench. That is Sean Evans. Evans now. Nice pass. Resetarits tries to beat. Scores on the rebound. Resetarits following up on his own chance and cashes in, and it's 4-3 Edmonton still on top.
That's one thing to point out there. If you're a younger lacrosse player out there, just same as the way it's in hockey, when there's that shot and there's that loose ball in front, it's so key to seal your man and not let them get those dangerous pickups and those dangerous shots right off when your goalie's vulnerable.
Joe Resetarits, number 6 on the year for the rookie, who's getting better with every game that we see him in. Nice goal there as he stayed with it, and Calgary gets the ball again on the faceoff. Nolan Hebner doing a nice job in this one so far, subbing in for Jeff Snyder. Now chance developing here for the Calgary Roughnecks. This is Dane Doby. Doby has Scott Ranger off the bench. Ranger now looking to drive. Ranger behind the net, pass out in front, gets to Doby. Doby flips it to Shatler. Shatler now looking for room. Shatler to the net. Shatler in, shoots, and a big save by Aaron Bold. Shatler stepping in the crease anyways, would not have counted, but a nice chance there by number 77. Now LaFontaine with it for Edmonton. LaFontaine looking where to put it, gives it to Greer. Greer now looked like he had maybe some room to shoot there, instead goes to Ward. Ward plays it down low, quick pass to Greer, shoots and scores. Edmonton immediately respond. It's 5-3, the Rush on top.
Great shot by Greer. Show on far side, pulling it down low under the glove. That's a tough shot to read as a goaltender, and you know what? That's just a great shot.
Yeah, Zach Greer always seems to play well against the Calgary Roughnecks. I'm often surprised that his name isn't near the league leaders when it comes to points, but every time he plays Calgary, he seems to deliver, and there's another goal for Zach Greer. Now Nolan Hebner again, nice job on the face-off, giving his club possession. This is Andrew McBride. McBride directing traffic, gives it to Dinsdale. With now under 15 to go on the shot clock, this is Sean Evans. Sean Evans looks like he has a step, dances around the crease, somehow manages to stay out, now comes out the other side, pass to Doby, chest save made by Bold there, and the Edmonton Rush have it.
Great job by the Edmonton Rush and their pressure on the ball, kind of taking away everything, giving them underneath, force them to go behind the net. Just a great job.
The Edmonton Rush lead this one 5-3, under 12 to go here in the first half. Ball is dropped twice by Matthews, but there's no one around him. No damage done. Plays it over to the far side. Give and go play. Then a behind the back shot by Matthews just goes wide. Another shot wide of the net. And it will be Calgary ball with 11:32 to go here in the first half. And the Roughnecks down 5-3. Here's Manning. Manning still looking for his first goal of the season. Has Ranger off the bench. Ranger gives it to Jeff Shatler. Shatler gets a pick. Gives it to Doby. They go back and forth to Doby. And just as he was about to shoot, the ball popped out. And it will be Edmonton possession. Here's Chris Cornwall for the Edmonton Rush. His brother not in the lineup for the Calgary Roughnecks tonight. And now here's Davis. Davis plays it to Ward. And then Ward gives it up. As the Rush working around, this is Knight. Knight plays it to the corner. Now all the way to the other side. Here's Greer. Greer shoots, scores! Zach Greer with his second straight, and it's 6-3 Edmonton as the Rush go out in front by their biggest lead of this contest so far.
You know, that's a great shot. There was not much room to put the ball anywhere there. With a bounce shot, just got outside of Poulin. Poulin did a great job challenging that shot. It's just a great shot.
Yeah, sometimes the shot is just perfect, and that one was just about as perfect as you can get for Zach Greer. Edmonton Rush having a good start on the road here. They're up on top 6-3, 10:35 to go here in the second quarter. As Calgary continues to give up a ton of goals. They've given up at least 16 goals in the last 3 straight, and 6 so far tonight early in the second quarter. This is Small. Small gives it to Matthews. Tons of room for Matthews to the net, and then he tries the pass out of the reach of any Rush player. You wonder if Matthews should have maybe tried the shot there. Eventually a shot does come. Ball is loose as Conway is in on it. However, he's facing a 1-on-3, and Calgary does come up with it. This is Andrew McBride. McBride gives it to Scott Ranger in a bit of a tricky spot. Ranger fighting off a check. Comes to the near side, looking to give up the ball. Eventually does to Doby. Doby behind the net. Stuff play, and Bold makes the save. Oh, that would have been beautiful for Curtis Dixon, but Bold thwarts that opportunity, and here come the Rush looking for more. They're up by 3, looking to go up by 4 here. This is LaFontaine. LaFontaine has a man off the bench, gives it to Greer. Greer, the hot hand right now, nearly threw it away. Now here's a chance. The shot wide of the net comes directly to the Roughnecks, though, and they're off and running. Edmonton gets back quickly on defense as Dan McRae finds Dane Doby. Doby spins off his check. McRae comes over to give him some help. And now Doby will play it to Veltman. Veltman goes to Evans. Evans now has a step. Nice play to Hevner. Hevner shakes off a check. Hevner, another nice move to the net. Ball squirts loose. Evans has it. Shoots, and Bold with another nice save. Aaron Bold coming up big here in the second quarter, Alex.
Yeah, it's great job by both goaltenders so far. And you can really see what these teams are trying to do with this pressure defense. Either they're setting up at the half boards, down at the other end of the Roughnecks, they're drawing a guy, they're flipping it inside. You see teams like Toronto and Buffalo, Rochester, they're drawing that double low. They're doing that big, waiting for them to come, get that flip pass. Either they're taking the shot or they're looking for the back door. Just great ball movement by both teams.
Edmonton Rush lead this one 6-3. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Calgary Roughnecks won't have to wait long for their next home game. The next Riggers game here at the Saddle Dome is on Friday, March 8th as the Minnesota Swarm come to town. Game time in that one is 7 p.m. For tickets, visit CalgaryRoughnecks.com. That's CalgaryRoughnecks.com. A rare Friday night game, Alex. Not a lot of Friday games on the schedule.
Well, there was the Thursday game the other night that's a little bit unheard of.
Yeah, or they did that. Was it Denver that did the student special? I can't remember which team it was. They had might have been the Washington Stealth. They did like a Friday afternoon game. Encouraged all the kids to come out. Love that. Love that.
Well, even I think Philadelphia did that. It was like 11 o'clock start.
Yeah. Love stuff like that. Well, you don't want to go to school. Go to a lacrosse game. That's better. 8:59 to go here in the second quarter. The Edmonton Rush out in front 6-3 in this one so far. They are playing very well in this one. And looking to continue that here in the second quarter. They will have the ball. Also leading on the shot clock, 16-9 right now. And it will be Edmonton ball when play is whistled in.
Edmonton starting strong side right with 3 righties, 2 lefties. Look at them to moving the ball as sideboards, maybe drawing that double low, trying to swing pass over, look for Greer. Even Matthews will shoot from everywhere. He's very deceptive with his body language and his shot. And a lot of power on those shots.
Yeah, he's got one of those shots that really explodes off the stick. Even when he doesn't get the full windup, the ball just absolutely explodes off his stick. And as you say, Alex, a very, very heavy shot. Good crowd here tonight at the Saddle Dome. Of course, it is Caleb Toth night, as he was earlier honored by the club and inducted into the Forever Roughneck program. First ever rigger to receive that honor. So a big crowd tonight. Edmonton now working the ball around as they are looking to build what is already a 3-goal lead. Now Small has it. Small.
They're carrying it low, flip it high, cross for the shot.
Looking for Matthews, who was cutting towards the net. That almost worked, would have been a great opportunity. Instead, though, the Roughnecks pick it off and they run the floor back the other way. This is Manning. Manning has Schattler. Schattler thought about a shot, then turned back the other way. Now Dixon has it. Dixon has Ranger with him, gives it to him, and then Ranger goes back to Dixon. So Dixon gives it to Doby as they'll work it from the other side. Here's Schattler to Dixon. Dixon now gives it to Ranger. Ranger looking for some space. 3 on the shot clock. They're going to have to do something quickly here. Here's Dixon. He tries a wild shot as the clock was winding down, or the shot clock was winding down. Real nice defense there by the Edmonton Rush on that possession for Calgary. With exactly 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter, the Edmonton Rush continue to lead this one 6-3. Rush with it. Here is Greer. Greer, 2 goals tonight already. This taste goes to Knight. Knight gives up the ball. He's going to get it back, though. Brings it across to the other side to Turner. Turner now has a step to the net, shoots and scores! Out of nowhere, Alex Turner with the goal, and it's 7-3 Edmonton.
Looks like there was a bit of a miscommunication with Hevener and Harnett there on the low side. Allowed Turner to get underneath. I didn't think he even thought he was going to get under there without any contested, and he walks right in. It's those kind of goals are the ones that the defense needs to prevent the shooter from getting to those areas.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he was going to try that, and all of a sudden it just everything parted in front of him, and he found himself with a clear path, able to beat Mike Poulin. And again, Edmonton now enjoying their largest lead of the night so far, 4-goal lead as they lead 7-3. Calgary trying to come up with possession here. Real battle for it over near the Roughneck bench. Got basically 4 players from each team in there.
Thompson comes up with it. Just a great lacrosse player, great on loose balls, very deceptive, very fast.
Yeah, really one of the underrated players on this Edmonton Rush team. I've been very impressed with him every time I've seen him this season. He was really good in the contest up in Edmonton. Now here's Matthews. Matthews dives across and scores! Oh, Mark Matthews showing his skill there, and Edmonton's on top 8-3.
I can see the Roughnecks coaches are looking at the screen. It looks, I don't think they're going to throw the flag on that one. That one looks good.
Mark Matthews with the power move, and all of a sudden the Edmonton Rush are up by 5 here. Alex, what are you seeing from the Roughnecks here? What's not working?
You know what? It's a defensive thing. I think on the defense they've struggled a bit this year. It's not a brand new system that everyone's not used to seeing. Teams know what to do. Edmonton playing a very similar defensive system as Devin Ray coming as the coach, which is one of the biggest reasons I think they went so deep last year was his coaching on the defense. But teams know what to do, and with the transition game the way it is now, the breakdown plays where they don't get a chance to set up, it's very hard to defend that.
Absolutely. 8-3 Edmonton on top here. Calgary looking to bite into that lead. This is Evans. Evans gives it to Jeff Shatler. Shatler gets the return pass. Now goes to Veltman. Veltman to Resatera. It's to Evans. Evans curls off from one man. Now Evans to the net. Shoots and scores! Sean Evans with a nice goal. And Calgary stops the bleeding for the moment. It's 8-4. Edmonton still on top.
You can see it's that same kind of play where Matthews and Turner they play that 2-man game. They try and draw that double. Whoever pops out gets underneath. You're just going to the cage hard.
And that's what Sean Evans has been doing all year long for the Calgary Roughnecks. When they've needed a goal, he's been the man to deliver it. 8-4. Got a fight here. McBride
and Quinlan, by the looks of it, the 2 captains.
Quinlan gets the jersey on his head. Now feeding McBride, who's also been jerseyed. Did you see what sparked that, Alex?
You know what? Andrew McBride and Jimmy Quinlan were teammates in junior in New Westminster. They've kind of been battling their whole careers at every level of this game, and both captains, the Battle of Alberta, you can see right now they're both here to spark their team to keep going.
Jimmy Quinlan is motioning to Andrew McBride. I don't know, he wasn't happy about something that happened there. Quinlan still has the jersey over his head. Just giving it to McBride, still on his feet, yakking. You know what he's upset about here?
Like I said, Grant, these 2 guys have known each other a long time. They've been teammates. They've played against each other. They've been playing against each other here the whole duration that Edmonton's been in the league. And like I said, they're no stranger. And as being both captains, there's no love lost between those 2.
Yeah, you can see Quinlan had the jersey over his face. Maybe that's what he was upset, is that McBride continued to pile away in there, and then Quinlan got some late shots in as well, so they both did some damage. But I believe that's the first fight we've seen here at the Dome this year. Calgary's had some other fights on the road, but I think that's the first time the fans here at the Dome have been treated to the fisticuffs. Now back to the live play. This is Evans as it's 8-4. We'll see if Calgary can build off that momentum from the Evans goal and then the fight. Play to Resatera. He couldn't get the quick stick on it. Edmonton comes up with the ball. They're going to run the floor, led by Ryan Dilks. Dilks has a man streaking. There's a shot off the bar. Rebound is there. Still up for grabs, and Roughnecks eventually do get it. Now here's Evans. Oh, that was close for the rush. Now Evans in transition. Evans still with it, and then he's triple teamed to the floor on the ground. Delayed penalty coming up to the Edmonton Rush. Poulin to the bench, and as the Rush recover it, we'll get the call.
You know, they're calling that on the back. That's a tough call to make. It looked pretty good to me getting on the stick. Just tough when you got a little guy like Sean Evans battling with 3 guys on him.
Yeah, you could call that one 2 minutes for dogpiling, basically, because that's what happened to Sean Evans there. And we'll see who's actually going to the box, as there were tons of bodies there. And it will be Davis sitting down. And it will send Calgary to the power play. That power play 1 for 1 on the night. Chance here for the Calgary Roughnecks to continue to eat away at this lead that now stands at 8-4 for the Edmonton Rush. Aaron Bold getting some attention in net.
I don't know if Aaron was just trying to fix in the straps, kind of giving his team a breather there, catch their breath.
Yeah, I've noticed that goalies seem to need equipment adjustments when their team seems to need a bit of momentum shift. So.
Well, sometimes though, when you're goalie, that's just when you notice that you need equipment that needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Calgary to the power play as they work it around. Here's Scott Ranger, the shot. Nice save there by Bold, and he hangs on to the rebound. Metzke's immediately graded by Evans. Oh, the hip check there, and eventually the ball is thrown away. There's that effort again by Sean Evans. No one comes harder than him at both ends. And now Evans has the ball again. With 1:30 to go here on the power play, Shatler has it. Doby now at the top. He's going to change positions. It comes over to Evans. Evans to Veltman, to Shatler. They go back to Veltman, now to Evans. Evans takes a stick to the neck, another stick. Now here's an opportunity. They work it around, shoots and scores! Jeff Shatler, second of the night, and Calgary's within 3.
You kind of see in that whole play leading up to that goal, Jeff Shatler was kind of just sitting on the side there, sitting at the sideboards halfway in, just waiting to see what they were going to pop and give for him. And he moved the ball, let him walk in, get the defense tired, and just a great play.
Yeah, great ball movement here by the Calgary Roughnecks, and then Jeff Shatler with the nice shot to beat Aaron Bold. And Calgary's to within 3 here, and you can see momentum just starting to tip Calgary's way. And Aaron Bold's going to get some more attention here as he has got another equipment problem. 18th of the year for Jeff Shatler.
Shatler, that's his sweet spot. You always see him get up just on that low mid-range side. Loves to shoot from there. Really good at shooting there, and again, deceptive shooting.
Absolutely. 4:48 to go here in the second quarter. And again, the Edmonton Rush on top here, 8-5, but Calgary getting back into that with 2 straight goals. And now Nolan Hevner with another win in the faceoff dot. Steps over center, has Dinsdale to his left and gives it to him. Now here's Jeff Shatler. Shatler with it to Dane Doby. Dane Doby, a couple nice moves, still with it. Eventually gives it to Shatler. He's going to go over to Dinsdale. Ball pops loose, though. It's going to go all the way down the floor. That'll be over and back versus Calgary with 4:17 to go in the second quarter. Edmonton on top, 8-5. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, did you miss the big goal that everyone was talking about last week? Don't sweat it. Simply visit the Lacrosse Network online to see the top 10 plays from last weekend's action. You can also watch full replays of every game played this season. It's all there on demand anytime that fits your schedule. Visit youtube.com/the Lacrosse Network. That's youtube.com/the Lacrosse Network. 8-5 the score here. The Edmonton Rush leading this one, 4:17 to go in the second quarter. But Alex, in the last couple minutes here, Calgary getting back some of that critical momentum.
You know, if you did a goaltender change, you have young Frankie Scigliano in there. First shot rang the post. Frankie's going to step up here and have a pretty good game. I know he's been itching to get in there. And I know sometimes that's just what it takes to get your team sparked. You do a goaltender change. They realize Mike Poulin's on the bench. He's not sitting. It's not a timeout kind of a deal. They're not buying time. They're putting all their trust in Frankie, and it's going to be a good game.
Well, we've seen Mike Poulin go to the bench for short periods of times in some games, but looks like Frankie Scigliano is going to see some action here for at least a few minutes, or if he plays well. I mean, would you expect, Alex, for him to go the distance if he plays well here, or is this just a breather for Mike Poulin?
By the looks of it, he's going to go the distance. I don't know what could happen at halftime. His next 4 minutes will kind of tell the tale. As the first shot rang the post, Frankie's yet to be really tested in this game so far, so it'll be interesting to see.
Frankie Scigliano, the young goaltender, a big guy in net. Does he play a different style than Mike Poulin?
He's a bigger guy in the summertime. I wouldn't say it's a different game. He's still coming up. He's still learning. He's coming out of junior A, but very similar. I know Mike will be showing him the ropes a bit and definitely taking a few things from him. I know he added some tutelage from Tyler Richards, as Richards helping him in the summertime with his game, and he's had a couple great seasons there. He had some great games near towards the end last year, and Mike was hurt. That last Rochester game comes to mind.
Yeah.
And he's like I said, even look at Nick Rose coming from this organization over to Toronto. Breakout year. I think it's Frankie's time.
Absolutely. Edmonton with the ball here as they work it around, looking to build on this 3-goal lead and stop some of this Calgary momentum. This is Small. Small has Matthews, gives him the ball. Matthew tries the shot. Scigliano with the save, and he controls the rebound. Plays it ahead to Harnett in transition. John Harnett running the floor. Goes all the way across to the other side. Eventually does give it to Daryl Veltman there. Veltman to Scott Ranger. Ranger now to Evans. Evans works it across, gets the ball back. Now to Ranger. Ranger tried a shot or perhaps a pass, regardless, it hit the defender. Ball to the wall with now 2 on the shot clock. Wild shot there by Evans right into the defender. And now here come the Edmonton Rush with 3:30 to go here in the first half. This is Chris Corbeil. He has a man off the bench and gives it to Ryan Ward. Ward plays it then down to the far corner where the Edmonton's going to work it from there. Here comes a shot. That whizzes wide. Right back into the hands of the Calgary Roughnecks. Now a long pass looking for Dinsdale. Dinsdale has a man off the bench. Nice pass behind the back, shot by Doby off the post. Beautiful effort there. Calgary does retain possession there. That would have been some kind of goal. Pete McFedridge plays it to Jeff Shatler. Shatler to Doby. Doby now with some space, tries the shot. That's wide. And it'll go over center, so it will be Edmonton possession.
You can see both teams are really pushing out. They're allowing the more outside shots now. It's the end of the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything in tight.
Edmonton with the ball here, leading 8-5, 2:40 to go here in the first half. This is Matthews. Scored a gorgeous goal earlier in the quarter. Now he's going to go behind the net. Hits the deck as he was shoved from behind by Manning. Matthews still battling for it. Then Manning is decked. Calgary, though, does retain possession, as Manning took a big hit to make that play. This is Jeff Shatler now. 2:18 to go in the first half. Ranger with it. And Scigliano's going to go to the bench here. Delayed penalty coming up to the Edmonton Rush, so Calgary will work at 6-on-5. Evans off the bench into the play, has the ball, gets it back from Veltman. Here comes Evans again to Veltman. There's a shot by Resetaritz wide. It's going to come to Veltman. And now we'll get the whistle as the shot clock expires. That'll send Calgary to the power play with 1:55 to go here. Alex, a chance here for Calgary to make it a 2-goal game late in the first half.
This is going to be a big opportunity for Calgary's power play to come in, claw their way back, get back, trying to get back closest to even before the halftime as they can. Both captains still sitting in the box. It's definitely the time and the opening for them to get into this game.
That's John Lintz getting the 2-minute penalty here, so it does send Calgary to the power play. Ranger with it. Ranger and Evans working it from the left side. We've got Veltman playing the top. Veltman has it now. Veltman has Ranger. Ranger back to Veltman over to the far side. Shot, bold to save, or is it in? Waiting for the signal, no goal. Doby thinks it was a goal. Now here come Edmonton back the other way, 2-on-1. Chance, shot, save Scigliano.
Challenge flag thrown by Kurt Malosky, and they were looking up at the clock for that review. That's tough to call from our angle here, Grant, but they're going to go upstairs for it.
Well, the referee was certainly in the right position to make that call, but I would love to get another look at that one because, boy, it certainly got behind Bold. It's just a matter of whether it just danced along the goal line or whether it actually managed to squeak over. We should see a a look here in a moment. It is going up to review. I think we've got to get Kurt Moloski to work on his flag toss, though.
Well, you can see that, like, that's a home field advantage. You wanted to see that play right away on the board. We haven't seen it right away on the board tonight.
I don't think we're going to see the angle here that's going to work. Well, you see the ball is bouncing there. You can see it bounce behind Bull, but I don't know if it bounces over the line. Here it comes. It's right there. Yeah.
That's a goal.
That's a great look there. And Kurt Moloski's challenge is going to pay off here. Bull backs into it.
Had a bit of backspin, came back out. It's tough because the referee couldn't see. He was staring directly into the big white
This is your
jersey.
best angle right here, though. You can see it right there. Boink over the line. And that should be a good goal. But, yeah, you can see where the official's position there. He would have absolutely no hope of seeing that ball. We'll get a ruling here shortly. I would expect this is going to be called a goal, but you never know. Yep, good goal. So it will be Dane Doby's goal, and it's a 2-goal game.
Huge goal, huge opportunity. John Lintz is out of the box now. John Lintz, another former Roughneck from the 2009 championship year. It's tough to make those kind of calls, especially late in the quarter, late in the half. You give a team like Calgary the opportunity to be out there with so many weapons, especially when you have the goaltender board. You have 6 guys out there that can all put the ball in the net, and they all love to pass the ball too, and you're going to get chances of beautiful goals like that.
Well, and is that not the perfect example of why we have video review? A goal that really the official would have no hope of calling correctly based on how it went in. You go up to the video, you get the call right. In my mind, that's exactly the perfect example of why there's video review in this league.
Absolutely.
So 8-6 the score. We'll be back to 5-on-5. They're still showing a minute 29 left in the penalty for Edmonton, but we are indeed back to 5-on-5 play here. And it is Edmonton controlling the ball, nearly giving it up, but they do manage to maintain control. As with exactly 90 seconds to go here in the second quarter, Calgary has worked themselves back into this one after trailing as much as 6 goals at one time. The Edmonton Rush looking to get back some momentum here. Nice move there. Ward tries a shot. Rebound. Scagliano makes a couple big saves there. And then we have a whistle as there's a whole schwack of guys in the crease. Can't even see Frankie. There he is.
Frankie's sporting his new bucket, freshly painted. A little bit different than the field lacrosse helmet where we normally see him in.
Yeah. Officials working this one out, and we're certainly one Calgary player heading to the box, and now some...
Mike Carnegie taking exception.
Pete McFedridge is heading to the penalty box. I think we're going to have an Edmonton player join him, though. As going in there is Conway.
I'm sure Corey Conway having a few words for his former teammates.
Mike Carnegie in there now as well. And yeah, we're showing an extra 2 up on the board to Pete McFedridge. So that'll send Edmonton to a late power play here. 8-6 is the score. Edmonton on top and a chance to go up by 3 here, as they will now work at 5-on-4. Matthews out there, had the ball, gave it up. Greer playing back and forth with Ward. Ward has it now, has Small. Small now, gives it to Matthews. Matthews with space, shot. Scagliano, another save. He's been good since coming in. And now here's Manning in transition, has the ball pop out of his stick, able to recover it and give it to Doby. Doby's going to wait for offensive reinforcements. Hits Dan McRae, who was skipping through the zone there. Ball went off his ankle, and that allows Edmonton to get it back here. 40 seconds to go in the half, and they're on the power play for another 90 seconds. This is Small. Small has some space, but he's going to wait for his teammates to join him. Now here's Small again. Shot. Scagliano, another save. Rebound directly back to Small. And now another penalty coming to Calgary, so goalie to the bench. 2-man advantage out there for the Rush, and they cash in as scoring is Jared Davis, and Edmonton gets a big goal with 20 seconds to go. It's 9-6, Rush on top.
Davis getting the skip from the top. He pulls it like he's going short side, twists it back, far side low, fools Frankie Scigliano. Another great shot. It's tough again. You get those chances where you can get 6 guys on, especially even with a young team like the Edmonton Rush on the offense. They've got a lot of weapons, a lot of guys that aren't as proven, you could say, as the Roughnecks, But a lot of these new guys like Matthews and Knight doing an excellent job.
And of course, since that came on the delayed penalty, Pete McFedridge, I believe, will stay in there. Oh no, they'll put John Harnett in with the new penalty. As we get this all straight. So Edmonton should be on the power play here again for another 2 minutes, and that's exactly what it is. John Harnett going in there. So Edmonton will be on the power play here for the remaining 15 seconds of the quarter. Unless they cash in, they'll start the second half with the power play as well. Edmonton, I believe, calling timeout here as they want to put together a set play. So Calgary getting into some penalty trouble here, Alex, and that's kind of been one of their issues for most of this season, is discipline and picking up those ill-timed penalties.
Well, it is. You can't give any team in this league the chance to come in on a man advantage. It's very, very tough nowadays to try and stop that. Like, the more chances you give them, you saw it earlier at the end of the first quarter. You had that long, skipping, rolling, well, like you said, it was a curling shot.
Yeah.
And we can't give up that many opportunities. It's so key, especially at bad times late in any quarter or any half.
12.6 seconds is the time remaining in the half. Edmonton will get the ball here, and they'll try and work the power play and cash in. Out-of-town scoreboard. Just one other game happening. It's down in Denver tonight. It is Rochester in Denver to face the Colorado Mammoth, and they have taken a 7-6 lead here in the third quarter. 8:54 to go in the third quarter. So again, it is Rochester on top of Colorado, 7-6. That's the only game happening tonight on the out-of-town NLL scoreboard. Back to the live play. Edmonton Rush have the ball and the power play. Under 10 to go here in the half. They work around, shoots in. Oh, it's wider than net. Matthews tries to stuff it in. Did Scigliano get a piece of that, or how did that stay out? Looked like Matthews had the gaping net. Now here's Dan McRae. He tries a long shot as play winds down. But Edmonton, Alex, coming oh so close to getting that goal in the final stages of the second quarter.
You know, the Edmonton coaches, Todd Lorenz and Keenan, they've done such a great job with these young group of guys on the offense. They're moving the ball extremely well. No one's selfish. Everyone's getting their looks. And more importantly, on the back end, their defense is doing a great job in the loose ball battle.
Edmonton Rush leading this one 9-6. We'll check the scoring leaders in the first half shortly. Shots on goal at the end of the second quarter, 24-14 favoring the Edmonton Rush. In terms of offensive leaders, Sean Evans leading the way for the Calgary Roughnecks, 2-2 in the first half. Joe Resetaritz, the rookie, 1-2. Dane Doby, 1-1. Jeff Shatler adding a pair of goals as well. For the Edmonton Rush, their offensive leader, Zach Greer, 2 goals. Ryan Ward continues to torch the Roughnecks this season, 1-4. And singles from Mark Matthews, Corey Small, and Kyle Rubish. That was the curling shot into the empty net. Curtis Knight also 1 goal, adding a couple helpers as well. And that's how we get to 9-6 at halftime. We'll be back with second half action. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, this copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome, where it is the Edmonton Rush leading the Calgary Roughnecks 9-6 as we get set to start the third quarter in mere moments. My name is Grant Farhall with Alex Coots tonight stepping into the booth. And Alex, what does Calgary have to do in the second half that they didn't do in the first half?
You know what? I think a big key is they got to stay out of the box. They've done a really good job a lot of other areas. Again, with the penalties, they run into a lot of penalty troubles. You can't play 5-on-4 in this game and expect to win. Other than that, I think they're going to have a great quarter. Nolan Jevner's done a very good job stepping in for Jeff Snyder.
He has indeed, and that is one of the storylines we're watching tonight, is that Jeff Snyder out with suspension. It is Nolan Hebner stepping into the dot. And of course, Alex, he no stranger to that role, really. Prior to Jeff Snyder being acquired by this team, Nolan Hebner was the main man when it came to face-offs and sort of that transition role. So certainly capable of doing it, and probably enjoying being back in there a little more tonight.
Definitely. Going against Jeremy Thompson on the other end, both great draw guys. I think the one thing you notice with a Jeff Snyder, even there's sometimes where maybe he doesn't pull the ball directly and it gets loose, he's the first guy on the loose ball. And I know his loose ball stats reflect that big time. Absolutely.
Face-off wins tonight for Nolan Hebner. He's 9 of 14, so 64%. Matthew Dinsdale going 1 for 1 for a tidy little 100% effective rate on the dot. But 9-6 overall, and you mentioned penalty troubles for the Calgary Roughnecks, Alex, and they will start the second half here short-handed as there's a minute 41 remaining in the penalty to John Harnett. So the Edmonton Rush are going to have an early chance here to build on this 3-goal cushion, and this is a big kill for the Calgary Roughnecks. They got in the locker room, some things were probably said, they want to come out and grab some momentum here, but the Edmonton Rush can really snuff that out if they can cash here on the power play.
Yeah, I think this first face-off is going to be very key. Again, both these guys are doing a great job tonight on the face-off dot. Jeremy Thompson is so fast, coming out of the Onondaga Nation in upstate New York. He played with the Six Nation Arrows. He's won the last 2 President's Cups in the summer leagues, and just an unbelievable field lacrosse player, very fast, very similar to a young Jeff Shatler.
Yeah, I can see that potential, and he scored a couple of beautiful goals up in Edmonton in the first game between these two clubs this season. Right off the draw, Jeff Snyder style, if you will, where he just took it coast to coast, not only beating Jeff Snyder, but then immediately scoring. So I have been extremely impressed with Jeremy Thompson, and I agree. Certainly the sky's the limit when it comes to his potential as the second half gets underway, and it is Thompson making us look good by winning that draw and sending the Rush to the first offensive possession of the second half. And again, they are on the power play here, will be for the remaining, or for the 90 seconds that remain in that penalty. They work it around. This is Ryan Ward. 6 points for Ward so far tonight. He has been unreal against the Roughnecks this season. Has the ball now, winds and then passes. There's a shot coming. It deflects. Knight didn't see it coming, and Ward's going to have to chase it. He does step over half. That'll be over and back for the Edmonton Rush and give the Calgary Roughnecks the ball. Harnett picks it up. Calgary will work it short-handed. Harnett spins away from his check, and he's now going to give it to Jeff Shatler. Shatler has it with exactly a minute remaining in the Edmonton power play and 18 seconds on the shot clock here. They'll look to kill as much of that as possible. Playing it over to Evans. Evans has Dixon over on that side too, and Dixon gets the pass from Veltman. Dixon always dangerous short-handed. Now Dixon's going to drive the net, flies and tries the shot. That was into the corner. Dixon again, 6 short-handed goals on the season.
I think most of those shorthanded goals look very similar to that situation right there too.
Yeah, either that or he's starting to really work that long shot where he shoots it around the defender, victimizing some clubs on that one as well. Now back to the live action. Ward has it as Edmonton's still in the power play for another 18 seconds. Ward shoots and scores. Ryan Ward, second of the night, and Edmonton is on top 10-6. Alex, Ryan Ward has been incredible against the Roughnecks this season. They have had plenty of him.
You know, he's a wily veteran, being kind of the leadership role in the Edmonton Rush team. He's done a great job kind of getting the flow going. He's always that guy, very similar to Caleb Toth used to be when he played. It's just he's the guy the guys look to make those big plays like that.
Yeah, earlier this season, Ryan Ward took over the all-time scoring records for the Edmonton Rush, exceeding Jimmy Quinlan, who was still active, but obviously Ryan Ward is piling up the points. and widening that gap. Now Edmonton back with the ball, leading 10-6, looking for more as we're back to 5-on-5 play here. We'll see how long that continues. Here's Davis. Davis plays across the far side. Now here's an opportunity for Small. He tries the shot. Scigliano the save. And now the ball thrown to Dan McRae's way. McRae having a hard time picking it up, though, and Edmonton's going to get a chance here to recover it.
And again, Grant, so key for those loose ball battles.
Now breakaway for Davis. In there, shoots it off the bar. Bullet dodge there for the Calgary Roughnecks, but again they can't come up with the loose ball as it was in Manning's feet, and the Edmonton Rush are going to get a third chance here. Alex, this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Edmonton's doing a good job battling, swinging it up to the top, start another run.
12:30 to go here. 10-6, Edmonton leading. Quick pass across to Matthews doesn't work. Ball is loose again. This time Calgary does come up with it. Pete McFedridge is going to run it. McFedridge curls away from his man. Now has Dane Doby off the bench. Doby gets the ball from McFedridge. Doby facing a 1-on-2, so he's going to wait for some help. Gets it in the form of Curtis Dixon, who receives the pass and then goes to the corner. Dixon drops the ball. Nice defense there by the Edmonton Rush as they double team Dixon, then turn it over. Now Shatler can't get the shot off as the ball hops away from him. Battle on the boards for it, and it's Kyle Rubish coming up with it.
Again, Edmonton coming up with those loose ball battles.
Yeah, that's been the story in the early part of the second half. Here's Corbeil. Nice move, shoots and scores. Chris Corbeil in transition, and the Edmonton Rush open up a 5-goal lead, 11-6. Nice moves there by Corbeil in transition, just working his way around, and then a nice shot off the far post and in. Edmonton up 11-6. Calgary continues to give up too many goals, Alex.
It looks like they're doing a goaltender switch with Mike Poulin. Again, Grant, they're coming up with these loose ball battles, and they're so key to get these chances in front of the net, especially when you got your defenseman like a Corbeil up there making those battles and coming up with those balls.
11,380 fans in attendance tonight, but they are watching the Edmonton Rush hand it to the Calgary Roughnecks so far in this one. They lead 11-6. Calgary needs to get back in this one, get some momentum back. Here they come in transition. Hebner, pass across, shooting, and that one just squirts wide of the net. Nice pass there by Hebner, but Curtis Dixon was unable to finish the play. Now a pile up on the boards, and it will go to Edmonton. And that's part of the story tonight, is when called upon, Aaron Bold has been very good in the Rush net, although shots on goal almost 2-1 in favor of the Rush, 28-15 right now. 15 shots on goal, not going to cut it for the Calgary Roughnecks. Here's Ward. Ward plays it across the far side. Now Matthews is going to drive, loses the ball briefly, and it's into the net where Mike Poulin, pardon me, did they make the change?
Yeah, that's Mike Poulin.
Mike Poulin back in there.
It looks like Frankie's going to be staying on the bench. He's got his stuff off back on the gate. You know what? It's no fault of these goaltenders. The defense is breaking down. It's tough to play defense effectively shorthanded as well.
Now another chance for Edmonton, and they cash in. Zach Greer off the bench takes the pass. Hat-trick goal for him, and Edmonton's on top, 12-6.
As I mentioned earlier, Grant, Calgary isn't doing a very good job of getting their defense out there in time. You can see right there on the replay, they're out there chasing guys. No one really knows their assignment. They're just trying to sort it all out. And then you let a team like Edmonton come streaking off the bench. They know that play. I'm sure they've been practicing the transition. They know where to go with that ball, and they're shooting the ball well.
Pete McFedridge down on the floor getting some attention from the trainer as they stretch out his left leg. 12-6 as the Edmonton Rush have come on here in the second half, scoring 3 straight goals. It was 9-6 at halftime, and they've scored 3 more to open up that 6-goal lead, starting with that key power play goal, and they've added 2 since. And yeah, I mean, this is not your father's Edmonton team. I mean, in terms of goal scoring and a dangerous offense, these guys can score goals in buckets.
Like I said earlier, Todd Lorenz has done a very good job with this Edmonton offense. And I know his son Sheldon's watching at home. Just a quick shout out to Sheldon. He's one of the biggest fans of the Edmonton Rush. And just such a great job with this young team.
And this young team is leading 12-6 here tonight in Calgary. Face-off will go to the Edmonton Rush. And they will have a chance to just continue to build on this. Rubish bounces the pass. Difficult take there, but Conway was able to reel it in. Now he's going to try and drive the net, turned aside, taking some hacks. Eventually does give up the ball. This is Davis. Davis now starts forward. Davis, nice move around one man, then throws it into the stick of McBride. McBride unable to control it though. Now 2-on-1 battle for the loose ball. It's Harnett coming up with it for the Calgary Roughnecks, who now will have a chance to get some momentum back. Instead, they just throw the ball away. And all sorts of problems right now for the Calgary Roughnecks as things are simply not working out there. And here come the rush again. LaFontaine with it. LaFontaine pulls up. Under 10 to go now in the third quarter. Davis with it. Davis plays it over to the far side and then gets the return pass. Now here's LaFontaine. LaFontaine shoots and just puts it wide of the top corner. Ball up for grabs, and again it's the Edmonton Rush that come up with it. 5 on the shot clock. LaFontaine shoots, save Poulin, juggles it, and then reels it in. And now we'll see if the Roughnecks can get it together offensively. They need a goal here. They need a few of them, but one will start the momentum hopefully. Here's Evans. Evans has Pascas breaking to the net, doesn't give it to him, instead hangs on, being well guarded. Evans still with it, then could not get the pass through, and here come the Rush in transition. Dilks with it. Dilks tries the shot and scores! Ryan Dilks in transition, 13-6 Edmonton.
That's a great shot and a great goal. The transition goals that are coming out of this league this year, just the athleticism and the speed of the game, it's hard to match. It's hard to stop those kind of plays when you're making a change. You're really going to start to see these offensive adjusting where they're not going to be looking to get the defense. They got to get their butts back there.
And Calgary has at times victimized other teams with it. Oh, a loose ball, stuff attempt, and getting back is Bold. What a save as he robs Dixon. Dixon still with it. As Bold came out and got himself into some trouble, but bailed himself out with a pretty incredible save. Battle in the corner for it. Calgary comes up with it. Here Shadler shoots, and that's high of the net. And Edmonton gathers in the loose ball. Here they come again. Nice move there. Corbeil now with it. Again Edmonton with numbers. Stuff attempt, shoots and scores! Oh my goodness, a gorgeous goal there. And Edmonton is on top 14-6. Matthews finishing the play in style.
Grant, you can see in that change there was 4 Edmonton jerseys in that zone. One Roughnecks player in position and the rest are racing from the bench. They're really having a big challenge getting their defense back on the floor in transition.
Is it the speed of the rush, or is it just, what is it that's creating these chances?
It's the speed of the rush. It's the speed of the game right now. You're seeing very athletic defensive players in this league right now, and they're given the green light to go.
Absolutely, and right now that green light is working as it's 14-6, Edmonton on top, an 8-goal advantage here. Timeout on the floor as the Calgary Roughnecks will talk things over at the bench.
Looks like Aaron Bold's heading to the box area there. I don't know if they've requested an equipment check or both goalies are heading there, so it must be
just the routine check. I think they'll probably be doing they're going to measure both pads and make sure everything is up to spec. We'll sort it out when we get back. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, tonight's game is brought to you in part by Reebok. Redefine your game with Reebok's new Black line. Reebok Black was designed and engineered for the elite lacrosse player. Reebok's Black line features a lightweight and minimalistic design with carbon-light technology, performance-driven, technology-driven, NLL proven. Find all the new Reebok lacrosse gear online at ReebokBlack.com. The Edmonton Rush, boy, 14-6 leading the Calgary Roughnecks. Edmonton hasn't beaten Calgary in the regular season since 2010, but they are hanging one on them so far tonight. Lots of time to go, but Alex, Calgary needs to make some adjustments in a hurry to get back in this one.
You know what, Grant? I think they're really missing Jeff Snyder on the floor at this point. Not necessarily just in the face-off circle. I know he gets kind of cornered, and that's all he does. His passion and his fire and his loose ball skills. He'll run through brick walls to get loose balls. And it seems like the Roughnecks are really lacking that spark right now.
Edmonton Rush scoring 5 straight here to start the third quarter. It was 9-6 at halftime, 14-6 is now your scoring again. Shots on goal, 32-16 favoring the Edmonton Rush. We're talking a lot about their offense, but you got to give a lot of credit to the Edmonton defense too, Alex. Only yielding 16 shots to this point in the game is extremely impressive.
They've done a great job down low with, I'm sure it's assignments. You can see Jeff, Cornwall, and Corbeil. They've done a great job on the right side of shutting down Sean Evans, of shutting down Curtis Dixon. They're not getting the chances they normally get.
This one not close right now, still lots to go. A close one though happening in Denver tonight. That's the other game happening in the NLL. 11-11 the score between the Nighthawks and the Mammoth with about 8:30 to go in the final quarter. We'll keep an eye on that one and of course encourage you to tune into it after this one finishes up. This is Resetarich for the Roughnecks, now desperate to get something going. Resetarich in that, shoots and scores! Joe Resetarich with a nice goal. I think he's hurt though, as he is writhing in pain near the crease. And the Roughnecks calling for assistance. Here come the trainers. Nice goal, but he certainly took the punishment to score it.
Great hard drive underneath.
On his feet now, that's a good sign.
Great young American guy in this league from Buffalo, New York. I had a chance yesterday to be out with Joe, do a little bit of a shoot around, pass the ball. He worked on some shots. He's kind of showing me what he was kind of planning on doing, and I'll have to tell you, Grant, that's about a little bit along the lines of what he was talking about.
I was just going to say, did he show you that one? Because that was pretty impressive. Makes the score 14-7. Lots of work to do for the Calgary Roughnecks, but you got to start somewhere, and that's a good starting point. Joe Resetarich with his second of the night. In fact, he's having a very good game overall in this one, as he has a 4-point evening so far. Now the face-off will go to the Roughnecks. We'll see if they can continue to eat away at what now is a 7-goal lead here for the Edmonton Rush. They pass it around. This is Jeff Shatler. Shatler looking to make a move, get some help from Doby. Now Shatler working one-on-one, turned aside. Now directing traffic. He's going to call Poulin to the bench. Delayed penalty coming up to the Edmonton Rush. There's a shot from Doby. Nice save there by Bold. And now we will get the call, so a chance here on the power play, Alex, for Calgary to get back in this one.
Yeah, I think that's Chris Corbeil going to the box. He was all over Curtis Dixon there in the corner. He shut him down 2 or 3 times. He was able to draw the penalty there. Right now it's time for the Roughnecks power play to step up. This is their time. This is where they need to start clawing their way back in.
Roughnecks power play has been good tonight, 3 for 3 on the evening. They want to go 4 for 4 here, almost basically need to go 4 for 4. Veltman gives it to Shatler. Shatler back to Veltman, now over to the other side. Here's Dixon to Veltman. Now to Ranger. Side of the net, shot scores! Jeff Shatler! And it's a 6-goal game. Calgary makes good on the power play.
Great ball movement by Calgary. You can see they're kind of moving the ball around up top, trying to pull Aaron Bold out to challenge. Quick pass to the crease, back across, and it's tough for a goalie to, as mobile as they are, to make those jumps.
That's a big goal for the Roughnecks and for Jeff Shatler. And again, Alex, it's a point you made earlier. Got to stay out of the box. Both these teams are doing quick work on the power play tonight. Now back to the live play. Calgary once again controlling the face-off. This is Andrew McBride. McBride runs over center. Calgary feeling it right now. Here comes McBride. Pass across, shot, and into the crease goes Hebner. Bold is on the ground. Ball loose, and Bold's going to hop on it. Chaos in the corner, and now we're going to get a little bit of extracurricular activity now. Everyone's in there.
This looks a little bit like the end of the playoff game last year. Jeff Cornwall is missing his helmet again.
Quinlan and McBride now, they've already gone once.
As I said before, Grant, there's no love lost between those two. They've played against each other, they played with each other a long time ago. But this is the point of the game. The Roughnecks are trying to build some momentum. You can start to see that they're showing passion to get back into this game.
And Nolan Hebner is involved in the main thing right now with John Lintz of the Edmonton Rush. Looks like cooler heads will prevail. Well, maybe not, as we now have another group over at the bench area. McBride in there, Doby in there. Cornwall is going to head to the bench. Quinlan's in there. Whew. This one's getting hot.
I know Jimmy Quillen's not afraid to let any player on the other team know how he feels. He's one of those guys very similar to Jeff Snyder's. They love to talk, they love to get in guys' heads, they love to try and get responses. And as you can see, he's been doing a good job of it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, him and Adam McBride already danced once tonight, and they look like they were talking about doing it again there. I'm a little surprised they didn't, to be perfectly honest. But we'll sort this one out here. Nolan Hevner's in the box for the Roughnecks. John Lintz for the Rush. This one probably will end up being even Steven across all sides when it's all said and done. 7:08 to go in the third quarter. This one's had a bit of everything, some beautiful goals. Back and forth, although Edmonton's basically been in control since the start.
As you said earlier, Grant, the shots on goal here, 32 for the Edmonton Rush. Roughnecks only registering 19. It's hard to believe that that's what all that's happened tonight as a Roughnecks team that's usually in the third quarter. They're approaching 35, 40 shots on goal.
Absolutely. In fact, the only reason that they're in this one is they've been able to cash in nearly 50% of their shots. Is that tough for a goalie? I mean, Aaron Bold's usually so strong, but tonight he's just not getting the work. And his save percentage is certainly hurting.
It's tough because you're not getting the work, but it's a testament to the defense and the offense on each side. Like the Roughnecks not getting that many quality shots and opportunities. The Edmonton defense is doing a good job of limiting them. And again, if they're making those hard checks on those doubles and that pressure defense, the ball's dropping. Edmonton seems to be coming up with it every time. That gives them more time with the ball. And as it translates on the board here, more shots on goal.
2-minute penalty showing an extra 2 for Nolan Hevner, so it will be the Edmonton Rush actually getting the power play when it's all said and done. And that power play tonight, 2 for 3. One of the reasons why they're leading this one 14-7. So Edmonton, the power play, up by 6, looking to build on that lead. There's still 7:08 to go in the third quarter, so tons of time left on the clock. Lots of time for the Roughnecks to get back into this one. They've scored the last 2 goals, but Edmonton will have a chance to take back some of that momentum here if they can make good on the power play. Again, that power play tonight, 2 for 3.
Now Edmonton starting a man up here, 5-on-4.
They work it around. Here's Matthews playing the top to Ward. Ward to Matthews, back to Ward. Now Ward winds, gives it to Matthews, tries the shot. Looks like Poulin just got a piece of that one. Fresh 30 for the Edmonton Rush as they pick it up and now start with it. Again, working 5-on-4. Here's Ward. Ward thinks about a shot, gets the return pass. Now he shoots. Another save, Poulin. Official nearly had the ball come into his wheelhouse. Squirts into the slot area, but there's the Roughnecks with it. And here comes Carnegie in transition. Carnegie going to pull up shot. Good decision on the penalty kill here. 1:20 to go in Nolan Hevner's extra 2. McBride swings it across the other side. There's a shot as Resetarits tried his luck, and then the ball went off the official. I think Resetarits was anticipating that ball going in the corner. Instead, it went off the foot of the official. The Rush now with 1:03 to go in their power play start back the other way. 14-8 to score, 6:05 to go in the third quarter. Here's Ward again. Ward behind the back. And then the Edmonton player, Curtis Knight, tripped and fell. That's over and back against the Rush. Will be Calgary ball. 46 seconds to go on the penalty kill for the Calgary Roughnecks. Play whistled in. This is Jeff Shatler. Certainly can be dangerous shorthanded. Has it now. Skipping along the right side. Now he'll start forward. Shatler fakes one move. Has Doby out there as well as Dixon and Resetarits on the far side. Shatler continues to hang on though with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now plays it down low, trying to feed it into Doby. Unable to get that to work though, and now here come the Rush, still in the power play for another 18 seconds. This is Davis. Davis plays it to the top to Matthews. And now Matthews just waiting as we're just seconds away from being 5-on-5. As the penalty comes to an end, there's a shot by Matthews. It goes wide. They play it across back to Matthews. Tries another shot. Chest save by Poulin, and he looks to work it down the floor quickly. Passes it out. Here comes Dinsdale. Dinsdale. There's a shot. Save made by Bold as he stops Harnett. Calgary looking to cash in on transition. They've given up some of those goals tonight, looking to return the favor. And now here come the Rush, shoots and scores! Brett Metzke in transition, and the Rush reestablish a 7-goal cushion.
Again, Grant, they're coming up with those loose ball battles, and it's hard. You have these broken plays. Like I said, these defensive guys, these transition guys are getting the green light to go, and they're doing a very, very good job of finishing their chances.
That's a big goal for the Edmonton Rush to get back some momentum. 7-goal lead, 15-8 your score with 4:39 here to go in the third quarter. John Lintz coming out of the box. Nolan Hebner staying in the box. And that plays certainly into the face-off story as well, as that forces Dinsdale into the face-off dot to go against Thompson. Timeout on the floor. The score 15-8. Edmonton on top. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, a reminder that NLL Radio offers the best online radio coverage of the National Lacrosse League. You can now listen to NLL Radio on your smartphone. Just download the popular TuneIn Radio app. That's TUNEIN, and find NLL Radio under More Sports. You can hear the latest episode of every show, including our very own Roughnecks Radio, anytime on your phone. For more information, visit NLLradio.com. The Edmonton Rush leading the Calgary Roughnecks 15-8. as they try to break a long regular season losing streak against the Calgary Roughnecks. The Roughnecks have taken the first 2 of 4 meetings versus these two teams to start this year, but Edmonton has come down to Calgary tonight and in position to spoil Caleb Toth tonight, as Caleb Toth had his number honored tonight in the Forever a Roughneck program. Nice pregame ceremony, but the Rush came out, scored 2 straight. Calgary would tie things up 2-2, but really since then, Alex, it has been Edmonton building what is now a 7-goal lead.
And you know what, Grant? Edmonton came out very fast. They scored a couple quick goals, and I'm in the back of my mind, I'm wondering if having those Roughnecks players sitting out for that presentation for that long, given they had a warm-up after, I'm wondering if that gave a little bit of a kind of too much of a distraction for some of these guys.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, these guys have their pregame rituals, and any sort of deviation from that sometimes can hurt you, but no excuses. Edmonton is full value for this lead so far tonight, and they have about a quarter and a third to go here to try and finish things off. Calgary, though, does have the ball. We are 5-on-5 here. Nolan Hebner now is out of the penalty box, as they did sort that situation out during that timeout. Here Shatler tries the shot. That goes wide of the net. Ball up for grabs. Shatler's going to come over and get it. Throws it to Evans. Evans does pick it up with 10 seconds on the shot clock. He leans on his man, gives it to Shatler. He's got room. Shoot, save, bold, as he had a clear look at that one. And again, Edmonton's going to look to move it quickly.
And you can see right here, Grant, the Calgary offense taking their time to get off. It's been tough to get out there and get set up as quickly as they can.
This time Edmonton unable to create a chance out of it, but yeah, I mean, you start to watch that, and Edmonton is still looking for those quick strike opportunities. Have been so effective tonight. The Rush have it now. Here's Conway. Conway gives it to Davis. Davis now towards center, tries the shot. Poulin gets a mid on that one. Ball up in the air, and it will be Roughnecks ball. They start down the floor by Dinsdale, who flips it to Veltman. Veltman gives it to Pascas. Now Pascas has Doby off the bench. Dane Doby's been a little quiet in this one tonight, and he throws it into the corner. Pascas going to go in there to try and create some havoc. Facing a 2-on-1 though, or a 1 versus 2. Doing a nice job though, and Doby's going to come over for a look. Ball eventually does pop loose to the Edmonton Rush, and now here they come down the floor. Thompson's ahead of the play, and now gets the pass. Thompson now looking at a 1-on-2, so he feeds it instead to Ward. Ward goes across. Nice pass. Here's Greer. Greer shoots, and as he does, the ball pops loose. And here come the Roughnecks now. stumbling his way as Harnett, managed to hang on the ball though, then takes a stick to the neck area. No call. Dan McRae gets it. McRae looking for someone. Finds Shatler. Shatler with some space. You don't want to give him too much room. 2:43 to go the quarter. Shatler, nice move. Tries the shot, bold to save. Shatler with a strong one-on-one move there.
Yeah, they seem to clear out for Jeff Shatler, let him use his quick feet and all his split dodges and his moves to get open there.
Toll unable to get over half in time. That's going to turn the ball over to Calgary. A chance here to, again, get a little closer here. They're down by 7, 15-8 in the late stages of the third quarter. They're going to need to do something pretty special this one to make it a close one. Dane Dobie leading on his man. Shakes off his check, tries the shot. Oh, it's a pass behind the net. Stuff play. Dixon can't make it work. And the Rush have it again. And once again, here they come in transition. Davis with it. Davis has a man off the bench. Hangs on. Thought about giving it to LaFontaine, but hangs on to the ball still. Edmonton at some point here probably going to start really managing the clock as well. They swing it across to the far side. Here's Small. Shoots, scores! Through the wickets, and it's 16-8 Edmonton.
Small getting underneath there. There was really no help there. You got a good angle walking in underneath. Again, I don't know if it's a miscommunication on the back end for the Roughnecks.
Now you can see here, nice shot by Small. One of the underrated players on the Edmonton Rush. Another one of those guys that impresses me every time I see him. Now Thompson wins another draw as he plays it back. 16-8 with just over 90 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Metzke with it for the Edmonton Rush as they are down the floor looking to do more damage. Here's Knight. Knight has a man off the bench. Gives it to him. That is Small, the author of the last goal. Small flips it. Here's Greer, shoots. That's deflected. Poulin reaches out and grabs it. Actually, ball's still loose, and Dinsdale has it for the Roughnecks. Ahead of him is Dan McRae. McRae in transition. Plays it to the offensive set off the bench, and into the play is Pascas. Pascas has Resetaritz, and Resetaritz plays it to the corner. This is Dixon. Dixon's been a little quiet tonight too. He's going to run behind the net, then try to feed it out in front. Ball eventually does come to Pascas. 5 on the shot clock. Gives it to Dobie. Dobie passes across. Oh, Bold makes the save, and it squirts behind him and stays out. And with under 40 seconds to go, the Edmonton Rush come down the floor again. Here's Davis. Davis to Conway. Conway looking around, decides just to go back to Davis. Davis isolated one-on-one. Now to the middle, has some room. Flip a pass opportunity comes to Carnegie. Carnegie runs the floor now. Doesn't really have much help. He may go all the way though, and as he does, he loses the ball. Played all the way down the floor. Mike Poulin comes out to try and get it. Almost trouble there. With 5 seconds to go, Calgary, here's Evans. Gonna need to get a shot on net quickly here. Tries the shot, save made by Bold, and we will head to the fourth quarter with Edmonton on top 16-8. 7 goals, Alex, in that third quarter by the Edmonton Rush. Quite the show.
You know, I think they've been doing a lot of work with the new rules, getting that ball up so quickly. You can see they're doing a really good job of streaking from the bench. They're setting up those chances, hitting those trailers. They're generating a lot of offense and a lot of goals from that.
We'll be back with fourth quarter action. You are watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, a reminder, with the Brier at Rexall, the Rush are playing the second of 5 straight on the road tonight. They will finish off the regular season with 3 straight at home, so lots of chances to see this team if you're up in Edmonton. The next Rush home game is on Saturday, April 6th. That's when the Rush will host the Colorado Mammoth. Game time 7 o'clock. For tickets, visit edmontonrush.com. That's edmontonrush.com. And so far tonight, they are enjoying life on the road. 16-8, they are leading the Calgary Roughnecks. And Alex, we talked in the pregame about getting hot at the right time. Edmonton was a prime example of that last season. They got hot at exactly the right time and ran that streak all the way to appearance in the finals, and it looks like as this season is progressing, they're warming up as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be in the short season that we have. We're about halfway done for most teams, or a little bit over half for some. It's trying to find the right mixture, the right personnel, the right mix of guys getting hot leading into those last couple games. And it's so important, especially for a team like Edmonton. You're on the road for this big stretch to pull out some wins, come back into Rexall with a good record, trying to find and secure a home playoff spot, which I know is very important to their owner, Bruce Urban.
Checking the Outtown scoreboard, it's Rochester and Colorado in the other one. That one now just going final, I believe. 12-11 will be the final. Just confirming that is the case. Cody Jamieson looks like he authored the winner. Colorado scoring 3 straight in the fourth quarter to tie things up. But Cody Jamieson scoring the winning goal in the late stages, and it is Rochester beating Colorado 12-11. It's a big win for them.
Very big win. Colorado's been struggling as of late. They've made a bunch of changes, releasing both of their goalies from the first half of the year. Matt Royk recently just re-signed in Stealth. The Stealth looking, I think, to find that 1-2 combo that was so successful a couple years when they appeared in 2 Champions Cup games back-to-back.
Yeah, you look at that West Division, we talked about it earlier, but I mean, I don't think there's much to give between any of the teams in the West. They are so tight, so close, and you know, last year with the Stealth, I mean, no one really knows what the heck happened. Injuries were a part of it, but just didn't seem to work, and this year they do seem to be back into form. But I mean, up and down that West Division, I would not want to wager who's going to win on any given night, because it is close. Now off the faceoff, Thompson tries the shot, just puts it high of the net as he came in like a blaze off the faceoff. So fast, you're right. You compared him to Jeff Shattler earlier tonight, and I think you're bang on in that comparison. Now Calgary with the ball. They need to get back in this one. They're down by 8. They've got a quarter to work with. Here's Evans. Evans plays it to Doby. Doby back to Evans. Now Evans to Resetarits. Shoots! Bold the save. Resetarits has a couple tonight already. Looking for the hat trick there, but turned aside. Now here's Jimmy Quinlan in transition for the Edmonton Rush. He'll hang on, and again, I imagine now in the fourth quarter, the Edmonton Rush will really try to manage that clock as they work with an 8-goal lead here. They play it to Small. Small, guarded, hanging on, goes across to the far side. Small again with it, winds and fires, deflected. Poulin makes the save. And now here's Dinsdale. Dinsdale has Evans ahead of him. Evans didn't leave the floor that time, just stayed on the floor and was guarded by Quinlan the entire time. Nice move by Evans to the net. And Bold makes the save. Ball squirted loose and danced around the crease area. Stays out though. And now here come the Edmonton Rush in transition again. Medsky tries the shot. Poulin makes the save. Comes all the way back to the center area, and we go the other way now. Here's Dixon. Dixon winds. Dixon shoots behind the back wide and all the way up into the crowd. Dangerous chance there, but it doesn't work. Edmonton continue to lead this one 60-8. Now have the ball. 13:26 to go in the fourth quarter. Here's Corbeil. Nearly threw it to Manning, but Manning didn't see it coming, so a pass eventually does come to the Rush. Now here's Ryan Ward. Ward gets the pass through, then gets the return feed. Now Ward tries the shot, doesn't get to the net. Picked up on the play there. The Edmonton Rush will get another chance here, but with the shot clock expiring, and now
it's like John Harnett's down. Looked like he might have took a slash in the hand.
It's behind the play. Harnett now to the bench, but you can see him favoring that one arm. Didn't see what happened there.
Well, like you said, Grant, it was far behind the play, and I'm pretty, from the looks of it, the refs didn't really catch what happened either.
Well, he took a ball in the bean for one. I think that's what did it. Or did he get his hand in the way of that one? Either way, it would sting. We'll keep an eye on things and see if he returns to action. Looks like he was okay as he left the bench area. As we sort things out here, Jimmy Quinlan directing traffic. And he'll take the ball when it's whistled in and just throw it in the corner. There's only 3 seconds on the shot clock, so no point trying to do anything on offense there. Calgary will get the ball now. As they bring it down the floor, here is Jeff Shattler. Shattler's going to work it from his usual position, flips it. And now Scott Ranger has it. Ranger runs towards the center area, plays it across, tough pass to negotiate there. Veltman's going to try and create a second chance here if he can come up with a loose ball. Doesn't, as again Edmonton is on it. They've done a nice job all night long on the loose balls. Kyle Rubisch this time was able to come up with it. He plays it to LaFontaine. LaFontaine carries it into the offensive zone. And now delayed penalty coming up to the Roughnecks, so Bold to the bench. Edmonton will work at 6-on-5 here. Here is Greer. Zach Greer plays it over to the other side. There's a shot. Wide. And as it goes over and back, we'll get the penalty call here. And now some other Rush stuff. I suppose this is the type of game where we might see some of this, Alex. Game getting out of hand on the score clock. Do you try and send a message if you're the Roughnecks?
You know, at this point, I think it's a very emotional game right now with the Roughnecks. Tensions are high right now, and you're looking for a spark. You're looking for anything to get the guys going. You know, there really is in the game of lacrosse. There's lots of time left in 12 minutes. It can be done, but they need to have something get going here. And it looks like we're going to end up with a penalty.
Two players going in, one from either side. Matthews in there for the Rush, and Dinsdale for the Roughnecks.
Not a bad trade-off.
I was just going to say, I don't think Calgary will mind that trade-off, and seeing Matthews sit down for a couple minutes. Although Matthews has been good tonight. He hasn't done the most damage for the Edmonton Rush. That, I believe, is courtesy of Ryan Ward. We'll get you some of the point totals as this game starts to near its completion, but we can tell you 2 goals, 7 assists for Ryan Ward tonight, just continuing his strong play against the Calgary Roughnecks in the head-to-head matchups this season. Edmonton has the ball now, and they're working it around. We are playing 5-on-5 here. Here's a shot coming, blocked. Carnegie trying to recover that ball. Eventually it's going to come to Dan McRae in the corner. Now he turns it up to Manning. Curtis Manning in transition. Calgary needs to start creating chances in a hurry here, as time is starting to become the enemy of this team. Here's Dane Doby. He flips it. Shatler shakes off a check to Veltman. Veltman juggles it briefly before giving it to Dixon. Dixon curls off his man to the net, shoots and scores! Curtis Dixon with a beautiful goal. Vintage Dixon. And Calgary gets the first goal of the fourth quarter.
Dixon finally got some room, a little bit of a step on everyone down there in that corner. Finally got in and buried his chance. I know he's had several of those this game.
That's just absolute vintage Curtis Dixon. That's why they call him Superman. Look at that height and extension there across the crease. So it's now a 7-goal lead for the Edmonton Rush. Thompson does a nice job there to control the face-off. LaFontaine with the ball now for Edmonton. LaFontaine runs away from his check. Guarded still. Finally gives it up. That's Turner. Turner throws it across to the far side. Again, Matthews in the box right now, so he's unavailable on offense. Here's Greer now. Greer, nice pass, except Turner couldn't come up with it, couldn't get the handle on it. And now Calgary comes down the floor again, looking to close the gap. Here's Dixon again. Dixon turns and fires. Bold has no idea where it is. He does stop it though, and eventually it comes up to the back of the net. Curtis Dixon has torched the Edmonton Rush and Aaron Bold so many times with that shot. That time Bold able to stop it. Now here come the Rush with 10:30 to go in the fourth quarter. They're up 16-9 in this one. Greer with the ball now. Opportunity here for the Rush. There's a shot wide as Conway hit the deck. And then the ball is played to the crease area, picked off there by the Calgary Roughnecks. And Greg Harnett now in transition, looking for someone to give it to. Finds Dixon. Dixon has McFedridge in front of him. Going to hang on and eventually give it to Shatler off the bench. Shatler loses the handle on it though. And there's Kyle Rubisch creating a turnover.
Again, Edmonton doing a great job coming up with those loose balls after the pressure on the ball carrier.
Kyle Rubisch led the league heading into tonight in terms of forced turnovers, and he's had a couple more tonight, probably to build on that lead. Now here's a shot coming wide of the net and into the crowd. That'll give the ball back to Calgary with 9:39 to go, and Edmonton on top of this one. 16-9 is your score. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back with more. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. The Roughnecks won't have to wait long for their next home game. The next Roughnecks game here is at the Saddle Dome on Friday, March 8th, as the Minnesota Swarm will come to town. Game time in that one is 7 p.m. For your tickets, visit CalgaryRoughnecks.com. That's CalgaryRoughnecks.com. And Alex, we were talking earlier, a rare Friday night game. Most of the Roughnecks games are on Saturday nights. That's a good way to end the week off. Head from work directly to the Dome. That's what I'll be doing, and taking some lacrosse on a Friday night.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe head from work a little bit early. Go to that dentist appointment you've been meaning to go to all week.
It's a terrible idea. I hate the dentist. It's awful.
Well, I should say, tell your boss you have a dentist appointment. Maybe.
Oh, I see. I'm with you now. I gotcha. So my boss knows I hate the dentist so much. If I try and tell him that, he'll know that it's bunk. So I need a different excuse. Regardless, yeah, 7 o'clock next Friday, the Minnesota Swarm, our first look at the Swarm this season here in Calgary. That should be a good one and a big divisional battle between the Calgary Roughnecks and the Swarm. Tonight it's the Rush in town, another big divisional battle. It's the Rush, though, doing the job so far tonight. They lead Calgary 16-9. We've got 9.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. Calgary does have possession, and they're going to have to start to cash in on some of these possessions in a hurry if they want to make this one close at all. Dixon's going to start the ball off for the Roughnecks. He authored the last goal for Calgary. He's got Evans, Resetaritz down the floor along with Daryl Veltman and Dane Doby.
You know, this is one of the first times of this game after a timeout call. It's just that you hardly see these guys setting up and waiting for the play to start. Most of it's been transition end to end, broken plays, fast movement. This is interesting to see.
Here comes Dixon as he steps over center. Gives it to Evans. Evans now looking towards the net. Goes all the way across, out of the reach of Veltman, who takes it off the board though. Veltman gives it to Resetaritz. Nice pass down low to Jold. Now battle for the loose ball. Edmonton comes up with it, and Calgary already back on defense. They've been victimized a few times tonight, so they are getting back early now. Lintz has it for the Edmonton Rush. He has a man and gives it to him. That's Knight, and the Knight gives up the ball. Edmonton looking to reestablish an 8-goal lead. Here's Small. Small tries the shot. Wide of the net. I think it hit something on the way. Small gathers it in. Now he drives towards the middle. Shoots. Poulin with a nice save there. And controls the rebound. And here's Manning now in transition. Manning has Evans. Evans shaking off a check. And then trips and falls. Tries to punch the ball towards a teammate. Instead, though, it comes to Cornwall. Here come Edmonton in transition again. Cornwall pulls off shot, though. Jimmy Quinlan, the captain of the Rush, directing traffic and telling the young man to slow things down. Now Quinlan with the ball. Quinlan still directing traffic, and now finally will head to the bench. The Edmonton Rush working around with under 10 on the shot clock. They're happy to kill time here, though. Greer plays it down to the far corner. Now here's Greer again. Behind the back shot. Oh, creative there by Greer. Poulin makes the save. And now with another 8 minutes to go, Calgary with another chance here on offense. Here's Manning. Manning has Schaller off the bench. Schaller has Ranger with him. Scotty Ranger takes the pass. Ranger then gives it to Dixon. Dixon thought about a shot, swim move around his man. Dixon now looking to drive. Dixon still with it, shoots and scores! Curtis Dixon does it all himself. It's 16-10. Calgary makes it a little closer.
Wow, great effort by Curtis Dixon, holding on to the ball, drawing all four guys on the collapse. He kind of used them as a bit of a screen. You see here on the replay, holds onto it, fights his way through, finally gets a chance to get the shot off around that defender. Great effort.
Curtis Dixon, second of the night. Calgary to within 6, still lots of work to do. 7:30 to go and possession awarded to Edmonton off the face-off. Here's Thompson. Thompson gives it to Jimmy Quinlan. Jimmy Quinlan, certainly animated out there, hanging onto the ball. Still hanging onto it. Now finally does give it up. He's going to stay out there on offense, though. Obviously Edmonton looking to lean on his leadership. Now here's Matthews to the net, tries a shot. Stepped in the crease, and I believe the shot was off the bar. As Matthew again showing that power.
I noticed they've been going 4-on-4 as Curtis Dixon's kind of sitting at center waiting to see if they come up with the ball.
Yeah, they've had Evans down there too at times, staying on the floor. Here's Dixon again. He's got the hot hand right now for Calgary. Thought about a shot there. Hangs on to it, still with it. Now feeds it across. Shot off the top of the net. That was from Ranger. They try and create a turnover. Ball is played to Cornwall. Cornwall's going to get greeted immediately. Nice play there. Cornwall swats at it, and that will turn the ball over as Carnegie immediately greeted Cornwall, and Calgary's going to get another chance here with 6:37 to go. 16-10 the score. Dinsdale gives it to Scott Ranger. Ranger looking for some help, gets it. Peels off the check, gives it to Evans. Evans has a man. This is Dixon again. Dixon to the net. Dixon shoots. Big save, Bold, as he boots it out. And here comes Edmonton in transition. Here's Metzke. Metzke has a man off the bench that he gives it to. With almost 6 minutes to go here. This is Knight. Knight gets a pick. Hangs onto the ball, gives it to Matthews. Matthews, nice pass across the far corner. Now here comes a shot. No, passing on the shot was Turner. Now he tries it, Poole in the save. Ball is loose. And Matthews is in the crease. We're going to get a cross-checking penalty, I believe, to the Calgary Roughnecks.
I don't know if that's, it looks like he was on the back on Mark Matthews there, sending him into the crease.
Pete McFedridge heading to the box. And with 5:50 to go here in Edmonton on top 16-10, that is a big one, as Edmonton will have a chance to at minimum kill some valuable time here to start to wind this one down. We'll get the replay here. There it is. Pete McFedridge on Matthews.
You know, Pete McFedridge is a big, strong boy, and I don't think he intended to do that or draw that penalty. It's just a bad time for it to happen this late in the game.
Absolutely. 5-on-4, Edmonton working it around. Greer was all alone in front. Pass didn't come to it. Instead, it's Ward at the top with it. Ward winds, passes off to Matthews, shoots and scores. Mark Matthews delivers on the power play, and Edmonton starting to put the final touches on this one at 17-10.
Another great shot by Matthews. You know, Ward's done a good job tonight of quarterbacking this offense. And again, Mark Matthews is a great young player. He makes everyone around him better, much like a John Grant Jr., a Josh Sanderson, a Colin Doyle. It seems always these left side, these lefty guys, they always end up being such these great playmakers and for the rest of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we got Dane Doby delivering a check over on the boards. That's going to draw the ire of the Rush, as we're going to get everyone in on the action.
I don't know if Todd LeBranch got that call in here right now, but like you said earlier, Grant, and here we got someone going. It looks like it's LaFontaine and Sean Evans.
Yeah, Sean Evans and LaFontaine going, and Evans puts down LaFontaine and rips off the helmet. Frustration showing, no doubt about it, for the Calgary Roughnecks. Sean Evans heads to the box.
Sean Evans, as tough as they come, Peterborough, Ontario boy.
We should make note that Ryan Ward tonight, 2 goals, 8 assists. Those 8 assists set or tie Sean Williams for most assists in one regular season game by an Edmonton Rush player. And in fact, Ryan Ward has set a new record tonight for the Edmonton Rush for most points with 10, 2 and 8. Previous record held by both Sean Williams and Corey Small. So an absolutely massive game for Ryan Ward again, tying assist records in a single game for the Edmonton Rush and breaking the record for most points.
That's a great feat for Ryan Ward. Again, I don't think Ryan Ward throughout his career, he doesn't get as much of the credit as some of the bigger names do, but him himself, like everywhere he's been a contributor, he's been a leader on the offensive end, and again tonight with the Edmonton Rush.
Dane Doby getting an extra 2 minutes. That's for that original check. And then, of course, Sean Evans and John LaFontaine going toe-to-toe.
I know Court Milosky talked before this game, Grant, about taking penalties at the wrong times, and again, it's happening again tonight.
Basically killing any sort of opportunity for a comeback here, as Edmonton goes to their second straight power play. They scored the last one about 16 seconds into it. There's a shot, rebound to Matthews. Great pass across, and the goal. What poise showed by the rookie Mark Matthews. He gives it to Davis, who had a yawning net. Mark Matthews, boy, that was quite the play.
Like you said, such poise, such patience to be unselfish. Wait, he sees Mike Pooling falling. He's not going to give him that highlight reel save when he's got nothing to shoot at. Pulls it back, steps back, sees his teammate on the other side of the net, and just feeds him the tap in.
Well, and again, that's the hallmark of a good player, is that when they make you're talking about Ryan Ward making those around him better. Mark Matthews certainly has that kind of potential as well. Face off with exactly 5 minutes to go here. This one is almost in the books as Calgary trails 18-10. Now big check thrown on Thompson. Another big check, this time by Dixon, as Calgary trying to send a physical message.
And Thompson still with the ball through all of that.
Still with the ball.
So impressive. Fighting through 3-4 Roughnecks.
And again, who does that remind you of? Jeff Shattler, right? Jeff Shattler, I've seen time and time again fight through 4 or 5 guys and hang onto the ball, hang onto the ball, hang onto the ball. So that comparison you drew earlier tonight certainly seems to be a good one. 4:49 to go here. Final timeout. We'll be back to wrap this one up. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, just a reminder that the action in the NLL resumes tomorrow here on the Lacrosse Network. It's a 6 o'clock Eastern start as the Minnesota Swarm take on the Washington Stealth. You can watch that action live exclusively right here on the Lacrosse Network. Minnesota versus Washington, 6 o'clock Eastern right here on the Lacrosse Network. Tonight, the Edmonton Rush coming into Calgary and really handing it to the Calgary Roughnecks. 18-10 the score right now. Calgary will get the ball here with 4:48 to go. 4th straight game, Alex, and Calgary's given up 16 goals or more. What's happening on defense, or what's not happening on defense right now for this team?
You know, it's a tough question to answer, Grant. A lot of transition goals, and again, you can see where teams, especially Edmonton now with Devin Ray in place last year, they're running a variation of this pressure D. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
All these teams know how to prepare for it. You can see them coming low. They have their one hand on their stick, ready to make that flip pass. They're expecting it, and it's a tough thing to adjust to.
Dixon will get the ball here as the fans enjoy a rendition of Sweet Caroline. Nothing heals the wound of a bad game like a little Neil Diamond. Gets everyone back in a good mood.
So I enjoyed that one movie lately, or that was the one, the fighter's entrance song.
Here's Dixon with it. He plays it across. Ball pops loose. Dixon picks it up, shoots, and whizzes it wide. Rebound is there. And Bold reaches back on the crease and keeps it out.
He's done such a great job today of controlling those rebounds, deflecting those bounces just enough away to keep him out of the net.
Well, shots on goal 45-34 favoring the Edmonton Rush, but Calgary has had really turned that shot clock around in the latter stages here. Bold, though, standing tall at times, keeping this one not very close. 18-10 the score here, really allowing his club to run away with it. This is Small with it now for Edmonton. Small plays it over to the far corner. Matthews trying to work his way off the check in front. He's going to go behind the net. Nice job there by Poulin to intercept that pass. And now here come the Roughnecks with exactly 4 minutes to go on the game clock to Shattler. Shattler has some room, looking for a man, finds Dixon. Dixon winds, fires, Bold the save as he shuts the legs. And we get a whistle on the play here, and
looks like Jeremy Thompson and Jeff Shattler sharing some words. Probably talking about how similar their games are.
I'm sure that's what they're talking about. I have a feeling it might be less pleasant than that. Thompson's going to go to the box, though, for a 2-minute penalty. Well, no, pardon me, both of them going off. Shattler and Thompson head into the box, so penalties to both sides. Of course, Evans and LaFontaine still in there thanks to their little tussle a couple minutes ago. 3:47 remaining in this one, and when play resumes, it will be Calgary ball. Pardon me, it will be Edmonton ball. Greer starts it off and plays it to Quinlan. Plays it down in the corner. Now this is Turner. Turner guarded. Has a man though, Quinlan though. See Jimmy Quinlan staying on there now for more offensive sets. Obviously Edmonton looking to just lean on his experience and his poise. He hangs on to it here, drops it briefly, then muscled aside. Nice work there by Dan McRae. Quinlan comes back though and takes the ball back. Gives it to Turner, and Turner tries a shot. Now here's Dinsdale. Dinsdale into the offensive zone. Nice pass, they work it around. Here's Doby behind the back and scores. Dane Doby, 18-11 the score still, but Dane Doby with a nice goal there.
Beautiful goal. A little bit too late for this. Again, you got Evans and Schattler in the box. It's tough to make plays at this point, but Dane Doby, he's a fighter. He wants to make plays. He wants to score goals until he can, until the time runs out. And he might be the spark that this team needs. Maybe a little bit too late now, 3 minutes left.
And no quit in Dane Doby, that's for sure. Nolan Hebner on the draw, gets some help. Ball still up for grabs. Pete McFedridge muscles into it. Ball still now in the corner. And eventually it does come to John Lentz. Now he loses the handle on it. And there's the veteran Kyle Rubish coming up with it. Rubish gets it over to the other side to Corbeil. 2:45 to go here on the game clock. 18-11, the Edmonton Rush on top. Now Small with it. Small being guarded one-on-one, tries a spin move. Now to the center area, behind the back pass. Does eventually get to the crease area where Calgary finds it. Manning comes up with a loose ball with 2:20 to go here. Now Dixon with the ball. Dixon throws it all the way across the other side. Doby tries a shot, that's why. Dixon tries to climb the boards to retrieve it into the crowd though, and that will be Edmonton possession. Jimmy Quinlan takes it. And he throws it over half.
I don't know if he's left the floor in the last 5 minutes.
No, really, they're just keeping him out there. And you can see like he's basically directing where everyone should be and taking that leadership role. Ball turned over on the over and back. Here's an opportunity for Doby. Doby finds a man, shoots and scores. That's Greg Harnett. Nice goal there on the setup from Dane Doby. Calgary gets another one, but yeah, too little too late, but a beautiful pass there from Dane Doby.
You can see right now Calgary, they're leaving Dane Doby, they're leaving Curtis Dixon, leaving him in the Edmonton Rush and trying to get these plays going to kind of shore up the difference in the score right now.
See this pass here behind the back, and there's Greg Harnett. Nice finish by Mr. Harnett too. 18-12 the score here, under 2 minutes to go. That's second of the year for Greg. I think they're reviewing this one quickly as it is in the final 2 minutes here. Looks like it will be a good goal.
You can see now the Calgary Roughnecks are starting to get their shot total to where it should start to be for a 60-minute game, and now finally these chances are falling.
Yeah, 1:52 to go though. It's gonna be real tough to make this one close. No doubt about this one though. Well, should double check until I see the full replay. Yeah, that one's a good goal. Officials just making sure that the right call is made here. As this one starts to wind down, the Edmonton Rush with a nice little streak they got going here. They'll be winners of 3 of 4. Calgary, on the other hand, will have lost 3 of 4, so two teams going in slightly opposite directions right now. Calgary will look to make amends next week, Friday night against the Minnesota Swarm. Nolan Hebner with a nice face-off win there. They play it to Darryl Veltman. Veltman to Dixon. Dixon now Poole into the bench as Calgary will pull the goalie here. Dixon has a man in front, doesn't work though, the pass. Picked off by Edmonton, now we get a whistle on the play and we're gonna have a holding penalty, I believe, to the Edmonton Rush. It'll send Calgary to the power play with just over 90 seconds to go on the game clock. That's Toll heading to the box for 2 minutes. So Calgary will work at 5-on-4 here. Here's Veltman. Veltman given space, tries the shot off the chest of Bold. Bold up with it immediately. Looking down the floor. Try to find Metzke. That an ill-advised pass to go all the way to the corner where Chris Corbeil is there for the Rush. He's gang tackled by 3 members of the Roughnecks. the ball in there somewhere. Edmonton happy just to allow the clock to continue to tick down here, though. Dan McRae in there. Ball still just underneath Corbeil. And
Edmonton been leaving a lot of their defensive players out these last 6-7 minutes, trying to get some reps in, keep their offensive guys a little bit fresher for the next upcoming games.
Calgary still on the power play here. Dane Dobie with it to Schattler. Schattler to Ranger. Ranger winds and fires. Bold with another save as he gets a clean look at that one with 40 seconds to go here. Edmonton with the ball. They just play it down into the corner. Worked last time, so why not do it again? Retrieved down there by the Rush. Nice job there by Knight to come up with it. 25 seconds to go here. Jimmy Quinlan, the captain, will hang on to it. Finally picked off here by the Roughnecks. Here they come. Breakaway opportunity. Shoots and scores. Nice goal in transition as Daryl Veltman cashes in.
I know Jimmy Quinlan's upset with that pass he threw there that was intercepted. But again, these are the kind of goals that we should see earlier in the game. These are the kind that Edmonton were scoring, these broken plays with the transitions, hitting the guy off the bench, and they're burying him now. But like you said, Grant, it's a little bit too late in the frame.
Yeah, it makes the score look a little bit better, 18-13, but really Edmonton full value for what will be a win tonight. And Daryl Veltman, 7th of the season, probably doesn't feel like a one to celebrate right now for Mr. Veltman. Face off again, Nolan Hebner wins it. Here's Jeff Schattler, 5 seconds on the clock. Schattler hangs on. And that will do it. The Edmonton Rush come into Calgary and spoil Caleb Toth night, make the final 18-13 as the Rush snap a long losing streak against the Calgary Roughnecks, and they do so, Alex, in extremely impressive fashion.
You know, they came up to a really quick start. Oh, there's some stuff in the lineup here.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like someone hit Cornwall.
Yeah, everyone's in on it now. This one has a chance of really blowing up here unless cooler heads prevail. Dane Dobie has a man isolated. Daryl Veltman involved. Scott Carnegie involved.
I know Kurt Malosky having some words for Coach Derek Keenan there at where the benches are joined as well.
Dane Dobie is involved. I don't see who the Rush player is. Dinsdale is trying to break them up, and then there's a group over here by the penalty boxes that include Alex Turner, Thompson.
And there's Evans throwing another punch. Looks like, I don't know if that's Mark Matthews or Conway.
Devin Ray on the floor, trying to get the Rush players away from it all. Of course, this is the type of thing that can result in suspensions. Calgary obviously extremely frustrated. Thompson and Dixon talking with each other. Now Dane Dobie goes over and still talking to Thompson, then fakes the slash on him. Thompson's kind of all alone over there. Evans gives him a little shove. Seems like Thompson was the focus of a lot of that. Not sure, did you see what happened in the lineup to spark all that?
From the looks of it, the first hit I saw looked like it was on Jeff Cornwall. Got a bit of a cross check. They're going to try and shake hands here now. I know emotions are just boiling over for the Roughnecks right now. It's a tough game, especially when you mix in the Battle of Alberta and the significance of the night. But there's something that's not clicking with the Roughnecks as of late.
Yeah.
And it's showing the frustration tonight of where the players are at and where they know they can be.
And that's just it. Expectations so high for this team. And this one tonight will sting for sure, but good to see that cooler heads do prevail as they do get through the lineup. Again, not exactly sure what happened there, but Jeremy Thompson certainly seemed to be the focal point for the Roughnecks. And he was real good tonight. Played real good as the Roughnecks do salute the fans here, as they always do here, win or lose, giving the fans props. You can tell frustration for Calgary as they drop an 18-13 decision tonight to the Edmonton Rush. We'll look at the final score sheet here and get you some of the numbers from this one. And really the story of the night for the Edmonton Rush was the play of Ryan Ward. He goes 2-8, 10 points. He ties a record for most assists in a single game by an Edmonton Rush player. He breaks the record for most points in a single game with 10. Mark Matthews, hat trick, 1 assist as well. That's the same scoring summary for Zach Greer. Jarrett Davis and Corey Small both with 2 goals each. 5 points for Davis. Curtis Knight 1 and 2. Kyle Rubish 1 and 1. And Brett Metzke chips in with a single, as well as Alex Turner. Lots of big numbers when it comes to the Edmonton Rush. For the Calgary Roughnecks, 13 goals in total. They were led by Jeff Shatler, 3 and 3. Dane Dobie, 2 goals, 2 assists. Daryl Veltman, surprising night, 1 and 7. That's a
Well, I was going to mention earlier, Grant, like I know from a lot of the games I've been watching and a lot of the film I've been watching on all the teams, Daryl's not shooting the ball like he did last year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as you said, he's showing up on the other side of the score sheet.
Yeah, I feel bad. The guy puts up 8 points, and through the entire game I felt like I didn't mention it at all. So my apologies, because a 7-assist evening is not bad for Daryl Veltman in the least. 2 goals each for Curtis Dixon, Sean Evans, and Joe Resetarits. Joe Resetarits, the rookie, continues to impress. He has 2 and 2, and on the floor right now named the Roughneck Player of the Game. So Joe Resetarits continues to show the potential that he has, and certainly will be a big part of the future when it comes to the Calgary Roughnecks. Now, what's up for the Calgary Roughnecks? They have a home date next Friday. Again, remember that one's a Friday game. I nearly forgot. Minnesota Swarm in town. Game time in that one, 7 o'clock. For tickets to that one, visit CalgaryRoughnecks.com. If you're a fan of the Rush and impressed with them tonight, their next home game is Saturday, April 6th. That's because the Rush are on the road right now with the Briar at Rexall. So the Rush host the Colorado Mammoth Saturday, April 6th. Game time in that one, 7 o'clock. And for tickets, EdmontonRush.com is where you want to go for that. And a reminder that the NLL action does continue tomorrow. Colorado taking on Rochester. Pardon me, that's the other game from tonight. I will tell you the Rochester Nighthawks won that game 12-11 over Colorado, thanks to a late goal in that contest. The game tomorrow is a 6 Eastern start. It's an all-Western battle between the Minnesota Swarm and the Washington Stealth. You can watch that action live exclusively right here on the Lacrosse Network. And Alex Coots, want to thank you tonight for your help up here in the broadcast booth. Great job.
Thanks for having me here.
Just final thoughts. You asked me before the game what I was expecting, and boy, I don't know if I was expecting this.
I definitely wasn't expecting this outcome. The first game was a high-scoring game. The second one was more of a defensive game. But again, breaking it open in these broken transition plays, Edmonton did such a great job of scoring goals and generating offense, flying off the bench. I don't know what the answer is for Calgary right now. This isn't, like you said earlier, a team with high expectations, a team that's so emotionally, I wouldn't say drained, but they know where they want to be, they know where they should be, and I think they're just looking for answers, and the frustration's coming out.
Well, and again, this is the 4th straight game now that they've given up 16 goals or more, 18 tonight in those transition goals. The puzzling thing for me is that this is a quick team. This is a young team that has young legs. There should be no reason why they're not getting back to thwart those transition opportunities. They've got the guys back there that certainly have the speed. Is it a mental thing? Is it just that the Edmonton Rush have found a soft spot in the Calgary approach? It's really hard to get your head around.
Well, it's tough. Having Devin Ray as a coach doing such a great job, one of the biggest reasons I think they went to the final last year implementing his defensive strategies. But again, he came from this Roughnecks team. He knows it inside out. He knows what they want to do. It's tough when both coaches are very familiar offensively with the defensive system and vice versa. They know the weaknesses on both sides. It just seems like maybe tonight Edmonton did a better job of capitalizing on what they needed to do to beat the systems.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sets up a real important contest when these two teams will finish things off in the season series. Calgary's won the first 2, but they lose a big one tonight. 18-13 is your final. Once again, thanks for listening. Thank you to Alex for joining us tonight. My name is Grant Farhall. You've been watching the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network.